Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome with us tonight. We're getting ready to gear up for Under Pressure. I'm Toma, Crest of Gautier on Twitter, and tonight I got Quinn with me on the mic. You want to introduce yourself, Quinn?
Yeah, hi, I'm Quintendo. My Twitter @ is harmonies_fish, and really excited to be here.
So excited to have us here tonight. We're going to be getting ready up here very soon for a very exciting round one. With all these teams here tonight, what do you think we'll see out of this? What are some top picks you maybe see coming out in this tournament?
Seafoam is definitely strong along with the lads, but there's a lot of top teams in this. Anyone could really take it. All it takes is one twist.
It sure does, especially in a single elimination. One match can throw a set. I think it's going to be a very interesting tournament we see here tonight. I believe we're going to be getting ready, hopefully, to start round one here very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see, because this is the first Under Pressure since the update, so maybe we'll see slight changes to team comps that we haven't seen before.
I agree too. We can talk about that for a little bit. We see the little bit of a nerf to Crab. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to stop us from still maybe seeing Double Splash tonight, although we may see a little bit less of Machine coming out with the points for special and the ink consumption. Nerfs coming out on those weapons, I think, are really crippling it now.
Yeah, and T-Tech got the boost to Triple Ink Strike. That's been really popular recently. So we probably will see multiple T-Techs in the tournament.
Cool. Yes, I think we'll see those as well. We got the, buff radius as well. As if you're just on the outside and get grazed by those strikes, you will go down now. Great counter to Crab as well, which we have been desperately needing in this meta.
And you've already seen how good of precision top teams have with throwing down all the ink strikes at the same time. And here we go.
Yes, we're going to be getting in on this first game. We're going to be going into Sturgeon on Splat Zones. We're going to have Secret Sauce versus Drifting Tide. On the side of Secret Sauce, we have a Dualies, T-Tech, flings a Explo coming out, and Drifting Tides has the Machine coming out, despite its nerfs. Dualies, an E-Leader, and a Splatter Shot. One down already on the side of Secret Sauce, as both teams are going to vie here for zone and opening.
Interesting that they're using the Dualies instead of Splash, especially with it being Splat Zones.
Yes, oh, we try to see a Trick Shot coming out here from the leader.
Already?
Drifting Tides trying to get that Twitter clip there, I think.
Yeah, they already have them pinned back. It gives them plenty of opportunity to go for it.
Yes, it is. Secret Sauce really struggling here to get into zone. As these Tri-Strikes come out, they try to seek for opening, but aren't quite able to get it. Another goes down on the side of Secret Sauce. We see this T-Tech kind of trying to rush into that zone. Goes down. Flingza here. Gets a pick on the side of Drifting Tide, but they really need to flip this zone now to stay alive.
Yeah, now is the time, especially with one down. Not sure if they can now.
No, at this timer ticking down, 5 seconds remaining, 2 down on the side of Secret Sauce. Drifting Tide is going to dominantly hold that zone for the 1-100 KO.
Yeah, no real pressure. Kind of a lack of coordination from Secret Sauce. A lot of going in alone.
Yes, agreed. Secret Sauce really going to have to work on their team coordination there if they want to stand a chance against Drifting Tide. Drifting Tide, of course, a pretty big name team and definitely a contender to be able to win this tournament here tonight.
Definitely. Let's see what our next set is.
We should be getting into it shortly. We're going to have looks like tower control on Flounder Heights will be coming in as game 1 goes to Drifting Tides. Flounder Zone, or Flower Tower Control, we may see that E-Leader sitting on that water tower over there trying to get more little spin snipes coming out from it.
Yeah, definitely a huge advantage for the E-Leader, especially with all the height.
Agreed, and the machine I think could also be very interesting here. There's so many ledges and ways to shark in pressure from underneath mid and be able to poke around. I think the machine's going to have a great time here on the side of Drifting Tides, as I'm sure they're going to be trying to look to make another 1-100 push.
Yeah, but don't count anything out. There's so many different routes from the sides, you never know what could happen.
Yes, Flounder Heights really having a lot of flank options, lots of great things for kind of sharky weapons, you know, sloshers, rollers, blasters to be able to come around and sneak up on people.
Yeah, and then you'll see in tower trying to control the area in front of the tower, which does give a huge advantage to the E-Leader or any backline weapons because they have all the height.
It sure does, and getting past those first checkpoints going to be really huge for whichever team starts to make the first push, because as tower starts to go down that ramp going into the enemy base, you have height advantage, and it's a very good position for the offensive team to be able to continue their push. So Secret Sauce and Drifting Tide's gonna try to do their best to keep the tower from reaching that spot on their maps. We're gonna see the game starting up here. We see change in comps. So you see the flings are coming out, but Dooley's changing off for Tetras, and we have now actually a mini Splatling and a Luna Blaster coming out on the side of Secret Sauce. It looks like pretty much the same comp coming out on the side of Drifting Tide. We see initial 2 down on the side of Secret Sauce here, as they're going to be looking to start making this push. Nice pick there, as they're going to just show their dominance here right around the tower. Kind of a bloodbath going around as Secret Sauce was scrambling to stop that.
You see the E-Leader trying to take all the height to control the path in front of the tower.
They sure do. This is E-Leader kind of flinging around, searching for a pick, throwing out the Wave Breaker, and it looks like, oh, actually the Zuka beats them to the pick on the rail. But this
on it for sure.
Yes, as I said before, we see that this kind of very favorable position for Drifting Tides here now to continue their push, as they do have the height advantage, but with 2 down, Secret Sauce may be able to push the tower here. They converge on that machine, but the machine still gets a pick on its Booyah Bomb.
They did get the tower. You saw the missiles. That might be important for Secret Sauce. It gives them a little bit of a breather. It can help control the tower.
It sure can, especially when you have like a crab sitting on the tower like they did. It's going to force them to ball up. The Luna Blaster gets a double kill, which is going to be great for Secret Sauce's defense.
Jump out from the E-Leader.
We do, and both sides still here. While the push is kind of starting and stopping, Drifting Tide's still holding so much space here. As you can see, basically all of mid is still painted in blue, and there's so much space forward still in blue as well. That Reach Slider comes out.
Great Reach Slider. Got 2 picks, I believe.
Yes, and now Drifting Tide's gonna have to try to get their members back in, get more space, but it looks like Secret Sauce didn't really take advantage of those picks and push forward to force Drifting Tides back past mid, as now they find themselves in the opposite situation, and now they're 2 down to Drifting Tides.
Oh, but they get 2 picks right back and take the tower again.
They sure do. Secret Sauce really showing that, hey, don't count us out from that 0 to 100 on the first game.
They have all the fight. Anything can change the tide. They're doing a good job holding them off consistently.
You are, and this Blaster is making excellent use of this cover here to be able to poke. We see another spin from that E-Leader as they try to get a pick.
Oh, you see the missiles again.
We see the Booyah Bomb, we see the Crab coming out. The Crab is shredded, but now another member down on the side of Secret Sauce. Drifting Tides is going to be able to push their score even further and try to knock the search for the knockout here, but Secret Sauce does stop the tower short of the goal with just 7 points remaining on the board for Drifting Tide.
The Trizuka come out, get one pick immediately.
They do. We see members of Secret Sauce here maybe trying to flank around and get a pick on Drifting Tide, but they are noticed and do go down in mid.
One pick in mid right after the missiles. They have 2 on the tower. This might be the push for them. They can control the tower.
And they're sure going to make the try there as they, unfortunately go 3 down now. And this Zimmy left in right up here on the tower, trying to fight from in its bubbler, but with the bubbler shredded, the members of Drifting Tide are just going to converge on them and splat them. But Secret Sauce doing a pretty good job here, I think, defending. Despite that 3 down, Drifting Tides hasn't really been able to round this corner yet again. Their members are holding really good pressure on Drifting Tide. And we see this person sharking behind this crab, but they do go down. A good effort right there to try to stop the tower. But they're pushing it now. They're at 6, and they got the Booyah Bomb coming out here onto tower to try to clear this space, and they are able to get the knockout.
They are, but what a great defense from Secret Sauce. They just would not go down without a fight.
They definitely would not. Very good game there, I think. Secret Sauce showing that they weren't going to be giving up, making excellent use of their cover and extending out that game a lot longer than that first one.
Yeah, the changes to their comp really helped them, especially the Luna. As soon as it sharked around the side, it gave them a lot of pressure on the tower.
It definitely did. We're going to be going now into Rainmaker on Mako Mart. Another interesting map where I think maybe weapons like that blaster could thrive. Having a lot of, flank options around the side, breakfast aisle, and being able to just shark on the walls of stack, give that Luna Blaster a lot of ability to poke, prod at the enemy team and come from unexpected directions. And I think that will really lend itself to Secret Sauce there, as we just saw on Flounder Heights.
Mart is a very interesting Rainmaker map, with the left portion for the checkpoint a little difficult to get to without having much control. So it'll be interesting to see which path they pick for the checkpoint.
I definitely agree. Of course, unlike Splatoon 2 Rainmaker, where if you get a full team wipe, you can basically just go dunk the Rainmaker on the goal through that right-hand route. They'll have to break a checkpoint here first to be able to do so. Obviously, the right side being a lot faster, not having to worry about going up that block, making the jump, but definitely a lot riskier, as it's much more open towards the defending team to be able to splat you. But the left side also coming along with the jump, like you said, which can easily be pressured. You can throw a toxic mist on it. Lots of options to try to shut down those pushes. But it is a little bit safer from having coverages from the walls. You may not have a shooter directly on you, like you may see on the right hand side.
For sure, and mentioning the checkpoint system, you've seen a lot of games that go down to just the checkpoint, whoever can get it first, so let's see.
Interesting. We're going to see a Hydra coming out on the side of Secret Sauce, keeping in the Tetras and bringing out now Splash instead of Luna. And of course their Flings are sticking. And we see the same comp coming out once again on the side of Drifting Tide, as they're able to get that first initial pop and a pick onto Secret Sauce, and now are looking to try to push forward into their territory and claim space on their stack. We see an excellent flank here, as they're all the way in the enemy bunker trying to gain space, and they are going to rush it over to the first checkpoint on the right hand side after they got those picks. And this is it's just kind of an onslaught of pressure right now from Drifting Tides. They're searching to get that Rainmaker pop, but Drifting Tides, that Hydra doing a great job of denying the Rainmaker pickup there.
The Hydra, a good pick for just giving them space from afar, where really the only person that can touch it is the E-Leader if it gets close enough, or just a flank.
Yes, and the Rain being pressured now, they jump off the edge of the map there to reset it back to mid. Not able to pick up any points on the board there for Secret Sauce.
Oh, you see the Booyah come out, and they actually did not have too bad of ink coverage in the middle, so the reset wasn't the worst thing that they could have done.
No, and if they could pop it here now too, they could create a lot of yellow in mid. We're going to see the Tenta missiles coming out now, hoping to try to get control of mid, be able to push in and kind of flush out Drifting Tide if they can, but no members of Secret Sauce really taking advantage of that special and pushing in with it. But now we got the Booyah Bomb trying to create more space. Will we see Secret Sauce push forward, but it seems like Drifting Tide just kind of backed up from it and is now moving forward back into position to pressure Secret Sauce.
Yes, and you see them going up the left, but Secret Sauce has the left pretty much all to themselves at the moment. A lot of good specials to clear out space for them to move forward.
Yes, so much purple on this map right now as Drifting Tide is just able to hold this space. They get the go for the snipe again, but are caught in that Booyah Bomb and go down. Seeing a lot more yellow coming out now as members of Drifting Tide are respawning. A lot of pressure from this Hydra up here, trying to get a pick onto the snipe, or the stack, sorry, but not quite able to get it. Good decision there, backing up from these bombs, backing up from this pressure to stay alive, help their team. They're throwing in a Booyah Bomb now to see if they can get any more pressure out of that.
Crab gets them though. They've done a good job so far of just controlling their left-hand side and getting off Booyah Bombs.
Yes, they have now, but now a 2 down on the side of Secret Sauce and specials coming out on the side of Drifting Tide. They're going to be looking to make this KO, but the Rainmaker goes down to the Hydra. And with that one more pick, Drifting Tide is able to get the dunk here and bring the set to 3-0 and knock out.
That was once again good defense by the Secret Sauce. The Hydra really gave them a lot of space for a lot of their defense.
Yes, it certainly did. Drifting Tide there really showing their dominance, showing why they may be one of the favorites to win this set as they 3-0 in the first round, and they'll be moving on to our second round that will hopefully be beginning here very shortly.
Definitely be eyes on Drifting Tide, seeing how quickly they went, but then again, you saw how easily the defense could change. Everything could flip around, but they are a strong favorite to win the whole thing.
Yes, they certainly are, and we hope you'll be joining us back here very shortly for our next match coming up. Okay, welcome back everybody. We're getting ready for round 2 here in Under Pressure tonight as we've got a great matchup here between Mum and Pixelated ready to start. How do you feel about this matchup, Gwen?
This one's a little different. You see two strong teams coming in. Pixelated likes to play a little off meta, so we'll see how they can do here.
They do. I'm very interested to see how it's going to work out as well. And of course, the powerhouse that is Mum that is going to be coming out on the other side is a force to be reckoned with as well.
Certainly are. We'll see what their picks are in terms of their team comp, but this one should be a real interesting one.
Very excited to see. Definitely, I think going to be a lot more back and forth than our previous set on stream, as we may see this one extend out across multiple games, maybe even go into a game 5 if we're lucky to see it.
Hopefully, that's the beauty of the single elimination. All it takes is a few different takes is a few matches going the wrong way for you to be in a bad position, so it can turn on its head very, very quickly.
Yes, it sure can. We got our lovely map list up here. We're going to be starting game 1, going into Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. Wide open map with a pretty big sight line across it, so definitely going to see a lot of long range options coming out here, I think. And I'll be interested to see what we'll see coming out on there. Each side, we may see some crabs that will like to sit up in the top platform in mid, being able to pressure the enemy snipe and even be able to poke all the way into the enemy basket. Going to be a very interesting map. I think it's one that may be a little bit harder for defending teams, especially when they're up under your basket, being forced to drop right out of your own spawn and approach them from the low ground, or having to go the opposite way and try to push from that high ground, but that can be threatened easily by a crab tank, Zuka, strikes, and other specials as well. Maybe a little bit of a harder map here for both teams.
Yeah, it certainly is very difficult to get out of being locked out in defense because of the predictability of the spawn.
For sure. Either way, set up to be a great match here, as both teams are in the lobby now, getting situated. We'll be starting very, very shortly.
Yeah, we will, and it is a tiny bit predictable where the movement goes, because normally they only take the right path to the basket, and we are starting.
Yes, we'll see both sides coming out. Got Pixelated over here, and then we got Yamam coming out as well. We see a leader on the side of Yamam. Like I said, going to take great advantage of all those excellent sight lines. And we got some sneaky picks like this Octo Brush on the side of Pixelated that can zip cast across mid up on the snipe and really annoy that leader and backline. The Carbon, which can kind of poke around under ledges, under walls, and be able to annoy the enemy. We see a big fight happening in mid, 2 down on either side, as both of these teams are trying to make the first move to be able to get control here.
It's lots of back and forth. We already saw one crab with that double splash comp, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more of those. Both teams just trying to get control of the middle, lots of back and forth picks on both sides.
Yeah, it's always going to be a little bit slower of opening in clams, as both teams need to kind of find the space to be able to take and hold mid for a little while, as they want to try to build up their clam economy as well. Of course, not a lot of clams on the board right now for either side, as they really need to be able to search for those before they can push up. Pushing up too early, of course, really will hurt your ability to make a push if you don't have the clams to dunk at the time.
Yeah, we saw that triple ink strike come out to create a path towards the basket, but they just had not had enough clams, and the crab kept them far enough away that they couldn't take advantage of it.
Yes, it does, and we do see the power clam out on the side of the Mum on the hands of the leader. Not enough clams yet to really be able to make a push, but they are going to hold their space in mid, try to poke around, try to get more clams on the board so that when they push into Pixelated's base, they're able to make a push that can last.
Yeah, you see that the E-Leader has its Wavebreaker out, ready to throw it to try and control the space in the middle.
They do, but they are 4 or 3 down on the side of Pixelated, and now kind of a staggered wipe as the leader goes down on the side of Pixelated. We're now able to rush into the enemy base, and they have a lot of clams there built up, already dunking 2 powers down into Yamum's basket.
Yes, but then the wipeout controls a lot of space. We'll see Yamam pushing up to try and bring up their pity clam as soon as possible.
We see the splash already coming up, going to a very aggressive opponent, or position on the opponent's snipe, but being punished by the Octo Brush, as Pixelated isn't going to let them push into their base so easily.
Yeah, you see the movement of the brush is causing a lot of problems for Yamam, and especially the E-Leader for pushing up, because it just cannot get the snipe off on it. But we see them completely control the middle now and break baskets.
We do, and they get 2 power clams in as well, and are able to sneak in another 2 clams and take the lead here. But now with 3 down on the side of Yamum, just their E-leader up, their push is going to end there, as this leader's going to kind of stand back, try to hold as much space as it can, and give our teammates a way back in.
Yes, and you see the E-leader already has another power clam ready to go if they can control the space to make themselves have another push.
You can, and you see a double kill from a bomb here by the Octobrush. A lot of clams on the side of the board of Pixelated as they're able to make a power clam here. Bombs underneath this basket, a bubble here to protect them, and they're going to be able to switch the lead here. The Zuka coming out onto the snipe, and the Octobrush putting a lot of pressure into the back line of Yamum. 3 down on the side of Yamum, but they need to keep this basket open, and they just do. Pushing it all the way now to 13. Great pressure here from Pixelated.
Yeah, we see exactly what we were talking about with being able to lock in the defense on the side of Pixelated, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if they'll be able to finish this one out here. The Octobrush, though, just causing... There we go!
They are able to get the knockout. That was a crazy push from Pixelated there, as they were able to just force their way into the opponent base, hold space. Great use and coordination of their specials there to continue their push, continue to create space instead of dunking everything all at once and running out of gas.
Really saw the brush control all the movement, causing all sorts of problems and making them able to stay pushed forward because he just would not go down.
Yes, totally agreed. That Zipcaster, excellent use, being able to get further in than any of their other teammates were. Of course, you have the Zuka being able to perfectly pressure that area kind of right by the basket, the little perch that sticks out. And while that area is pressured, forcing them to run back, the Brush was able to Zipcast back there and finish it off.
Yeah, and you saw an unlikely start to that push with the suction bomb just getting 2 at once from the Octobrush, and that really created all the space in front of the basket for them to push with their power clam.
It definitely can. Great picks like that. You know, sometimes you just throw a bomb, people back up to it, don't see it, go down, and things like that can really swing a game, especially in clams if you have all those clams already built up on your side or able to just go freely dunk them because of a pick.
Yeah, and especially with the use of the bubble, they had it saved up, they knew their game plan, they knew to stay back and just not lose the bubble in case they were able to make the push. And that bubble gave them all sorts of time to take the lead.
It sure did, and I think we still saw a lot of good work there on the side of Yamum, being able to, of course, respond to Pixelated's very first push with a push even bigger of their own, and, you know, never really giving up too much space. They were able to hold mid very well, very well-rounded game coming out from both teams.
It was, and that was just an example of how each map has its favorabilities, and unfortunately for Yamum, Pixelated was just able to use the predictability of spawn to lock them out.
Yes, and that's how it is on some maps. And speaking of some maps, we're going to be getting ready to go into round 2 here, and we're going to be going into Sturgeon Splat Zones. I think this is going to be another great map where that brush can maybe, you know, zipcast up onto a snipe, zipcast, you know, behind the enemy backline, and just cause a lot of chaos. You've got all the burst bombs that come from the carbon and from the splash that can create space, but also, I think that this might be a little bit safer map for the leader. You have to push up a lot further to create the lockout here. It'll be a lot harder for, you know, either team to create that situation that we saw on Scorch.
Yes, indeed. We saw this map in the first set, and unfortunately a wipeout for Pixelated there, and Yamam is just going to push forward and try to control the space and not let them towards the zone.
Yep. And speaking of the lockout, we already see members starting to gear up to get ready to do that. We see an excellent use of that crab over in the window to be able to pressure the members of Pixelated, and we see a great pick coming out on the side of the Octobrush. As I said, being able to use that Zipcaster was able to force the E-Leader off of their own snipe, which is where the E-Leader wants to be in lockout. Great play there by Pixelated, able to neutralize the zone here and swing it back in their favor.
Yes, they do swing it back in their favor indeed, and now they'll just be trying to watch all the options of approaches from Yamam.
They sure are.
Yeah, the Octobrush able to get forward to get that leader really relieved a lot of the pressure for Pixelated.
It did, and we see great strikes coming out, able to take down a member of Pixelated. This E-Leader here is going to be looking for snipes in zone, gets one, and with that, Yamam is able to take control of this zone again. 2 down now on the side of Pixelated, as Yamam is going to want to be able to take advantage of this man situation to force them out and get the rest of this penalty off their timer.
Yes, and you see the jump out here, and they'll just try to push forward with Yamam. But it looks like Pixelated has already done a pretty good job coming out and not getting trapped in their spawn.
They did a great pick here for the splash. They were able to get one, get back out safely onto zone, get another one there as well. Yamam's timer now ticking down through their penalty. They are keeping up specials with these strikes, holding on to one more to just last out that pressure that they need to try to hold on to this zone as it counts down, and Yamam is able to get the KO.
They are, and you saw once again how essential controlling the middle is to these maps. Yamam controlling most of the splat zone for most of the time just gave them a lot of the space to work with.
It definitely did. Such aggression coming out from Yamam. You saw that once they were able to get the wipe on Pixelated, excellent positioning from them, as they knew exactly where each of their members needed to go to be able to force the lockout. You saw the crab positioned on the right side on the window, being able to poke really far, and the leader on the enemy snipe able to just look into the opponent base. Splat, or the other members just pushing up, trying to apply pressure, but once that Zipcaster came out, moved the E-Leader, Pixelated was able to force their way back in, showing that they weren't out of it. Of course, really great played by both sides. Really, I think both sides there got to show what they can bring to the table here.
Yeah, of course. Even though it is so hard to lock out, you've seen one of the keys to Pixelated has been when they've taken down the E-Leader. They push very well as a team to try and take back the zone, but Yamam just controls the area so well, and their positioning is perfection.
It absolutely is. We're going to be gearing up now to go into Cower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. I think that's going to be another map. I think maps can make or break comps, and I think we're seeing a lot of maps that Pixelated's got some great weapons with their kind of more off-meta choices that work for them. I think this is going to be another great map for this brush, another great map for this carbon roller. If they can get Weem situated up there on the plat, they can kind of pop off with that carbon roller. The Octobrush can zip in maybe to the opponent attic and remove their backline as well. Or I say backline as it looks like on the side of Yamam we've traded off on the leader to now bring out a much more aggro shooter comp.
Yeah, and that could completely change the game, though now without having that extra range, Pixelated may have an advantage with the off meta because they practice so much with this comp.
They sure do, and we see great pressure here from Pixelated as they're able to clear that first checkpoint, and they are really pushed up into Yamam's base here. We see the strikes coming out. We see Azuka coming out now as member of Yamam went down there. Now all back up. They're trying to find a way to get a pick onto Pixelated to try to stop this tower. They bring out the strikes, but Pixelated is holding strong.
Dude, they had pushed all the way to the third checkpoint before Yamam was finally able to create some space. You saw the carbon doing exactly what you said, coming out and sharking as soon as it got on their plat, and that really gave a lot of space for them to work with. Now back at checkpoint 3,
We see so many trades coming out. They're able to get past the third checkpoint.
Yeah, you see Pixelated's crab go down there, and Yamam does complete the wipeout. This will give them a lot of time and space to work with to try and take back a lot of the middle.
Yes, it sure does. That is what Yamam needed there now, is they're going to be trying to attempt to do the same thing that we saw Pixelated do to them. They're trying to make sure that they've got excellent control of mid first, with these strikes kind of delaying that. But they're going to be looking very soon to be making advances onto Pixelated's side. As this Clower clears the first checkpoint, they need to be able to move forward and protect it before it goes ahead of their team.
They do, you see Yamam with 2 crabs at the ready. They use one right there. They have a second as well as a triple ink strike to try and control the space on their plat.
They do, and we see the second one coming out now, along with the tri-strike, as they're able to get a pick on the carbon roller from Pixelated. But with 1-2 down now on the side of Pixelated, they need to play a little bit safer here, make sure that they can stop Yamam's push without continuing to go down themselves. And we see a great crab tank coming out here, now they have 3 down on the side of Yamam. A great stop by Pixelated. They're now going to push forward, paint their own plat, flush Yamam back out to mid.
Yes, they did. That was a very well-timed crab to just give themselves time to reset on their plat. But Yamam is right back in it, immediately using a triple ink strike and a crab, and their second crab to try and take back that plat once again.
We see these strikes coming out again onto these crabs. Of course, now with the strike being buffed, those crabs have no choice, but once that strike's on them, but they've got to ball up and get out of there before it takes them down.
Indeed, you saw the carbon get the pick on the tower, the Octobrush also trading with another, but Yamam ultimately gets back on the tower. Triple ink strike comes out, however, and gets 2 of Yamam. And
good
they
defense there.
They sustain the defense once again.
I believe that was even 3 down on the side of Pixelated when that shot through those strikes, able to solo defend that tower for some time.
Yeah, you see how important the buff has been to the triple ink strike. Before, it was losing a lot of ability to use the triple ink strike by not being able to use its squid form and not having a very strong radius. But now that with the buff, it does control so much space.
It sure does, and you have to be a lot more cautious around it. No longer really able to just kind of live in the outer radius of it like you used to be able to. We see this brush kind of zip casting around, looking to get a pick, and they do. Great picks as always from that brush, but they do go down on their recall.
Yes, they do, and Yamam trying to push forward once again. A couple trades going around. They are trying to jump back in here to try and get control. The crab on the tower once again, trying to push on that plat. But we've seen it once again with only 8 seconds to go. Can Pixelated hold them off one last time?
1 down already on the side of Pixelated, but these strikes coming out, and they're going to rush the tower to end it right as overtime starts.
Yes, and that was the change in the meta that controls so well on tower. We already saw it before the update, how well triple ink strike can be to get control of the tower at last minute, but with the buff, it just controlled their entire plat. A great first push. After that, Yamam kind of took advantage and took all the space, was trying to push the tower, but that strong first push from Pixelated just carried them the rest of the way with that good defense.
It sure did, as we talked before. I think the right mode and the right map just kind of worked out in the favor of Pixelated there, as they were just kind of able to stay in the house of Yamam for so long and able to extend that first push out, and then really for the rest of the game, able to play a more defensive game, able to not have to worry as much about, pushing forward. And while they still did, take space, they didn't have to worry about knocking out or regaining lead, which I think was great for them. They knew that, hey, we can play a little bit safer, we can play for our lives, let's keep these strikes up to stop the pushes from Yamam, because all we have to do is defend.
Yeah, that is all they had to do, and you saw just such well-timed specials from Pixelated. Your mom also having very good coordination of their specials, but it is so hard to push on this map when the Tri-Strike controls so much of that platform.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to be going into game 4 here shortly with Rainmaker on Mako Mart. Pixelated gonna be looking here to try to take Yamum out of the running for this tournament. Yamum now knowing that they need to win the next 2 games to keep their hopes of winning tonight alive.
Yeah, for sure. You saw the switch from the E-Leader to the 52. You'd have to imagine they bring back out the E-Leader to try and control more space so they can push and defend.
I definitely agree, and I think that you saw, especially like in that zones game, when they're able to get back in, when they're able to hold space, was when they were able to move that leader. And without that leader there, Yamum's defense really just was struggling to find a way to outrange and get the picks that they needed. Often going down to trades or down to bombs, Yamum needed somebody who could stay a little bit further back. So I imagine, as you said, we'll probably see the leader or some sort of longer ranged option coming back out onto this round.
For sure, and I'm sure plenty of people thought Yamum would be ending up winning this set, but now being down 2-1, they have to win this game.
They sure do. And we see, of course, the same sort of comp coming out from the side of Pixelated, but Yamum opting to stay with the more aggressive comp. Maybe thinking that since this is Rainmaker, that they can use that rain as their, sort of range option, and focus on their really excellent aggression on pushing forward. And they show that they are able to get that pop, and they are able to start off in a very strong push, putting Pixelated back. 2 members down on Pixelated. It looks like they're going to go left and try to take this first checkpoint, and they are able to clear it.
Or you see them with a crab at the ready, but getting that first checkpoint is so essential on this map. A good call from them for being the aggressive style. They immediately start off with a strong push.
We sure do, and we see strikes, we see a crab specials being popped left and right on the side of Yamum as they start advancing towards this goal pedestal, and they are able to push it all the way to 14 here before going down. The members of Yamum that are left trying to back up, stay alive, one goes down, but this mid is still very, very blue.
Yes, it is. You saw the Carbon doing the defensive work to get 3 down on the side of Yamum to give them a little bit of a relief from the pressure, but with the aggressive comp, it's just going to be so hard to push forward here. You see a Trizuka, all the specials come out, a Crab, Trizuka, triple Ink Strike, and the Zip Caster, and it allows them to push forward a lot more than they had been previously.
Yes, all that blue flipped suddenly to yellow. We saw a member of Yamum there trying to shark and get the kills, but was noticed by Pixelated and punished as they're able to hold this space, get more yellow out. Yamum now striking, trying to regain control of some of this space in mid and force Pixelated back.
Definitely are. You see the sharking from the Octobrush, just allowed to get 1 pick and trying to control a little bit of the space in front of Yamum's base, but has to jump out, unfortunately.
Good choice there, I think, trying to stay alive, keep their points to special, and make sure that their team isn't going to be pushed out and further back by Yamum here. As we can see now, Pixelated on the defense, trading 2 for 2 for Yamum, but now a third goes down on the side of Pixelated. Yamum is going to use this opportunity to push forward, start moving into their base again, and try to get some ink down before they pick up the Rainmaker.
See the Gal doing work on the left, just trying to hold that space, while the rest of the team is off to the right and behind the Rainmaker itself, just trying to hold them off, stop them from coming forward. You see the whale coming out, and now Pixelated able to take them out.
Yes, they are good picks there. Gal using great use of its wall and cover to have a good matchup there. That is, both sides are popping special. Mid is kind of still remaining pretty neutral here. A lot of fight going around, but now a 2 down on the side of Pixelated. This is the moment that Yamum is waiting for to restart their push.
Already saw the crab come out. They unfortunately aren't able to get very much of a push. Pixelated doing a good job with the crab, controlling some space in the middle and getting the Rainmaker down.
They do, and Pixelated now responding right away again, flipping again all this blue back into yellow, as we just have seen this map change colors so many times as both of these teams are really able to show their dominance. But with 3 down on the side of Pixelated, just the Octobrush behind, they have got to use this opportunity to go forward. The real question here, of course, is do they notice the Octobrush? This Octobrush is zip casting in, trying to get a pick, but goes down.
You saw him go all the way around in Yamum's base. They didn't see it coming, but unfortunately the Zipcaster didn't quite have enough range to do the job. A good pick there on the Rainmaker, though.
It is, and now it's left in kind of an awkward corner there for Pixelated. They're definitely going to need to take a lot more space. This is a very dangerous corner to be picking it up in, as the members of Yamum can kind of just converge pretty safely on them from dropping out of their base. We can see here now that they've picked it up, but they are killed by a flank from behind. Pixelated here now gonna have to try to make a move with only 5 seconds remaining. They just lost the Rainmaker. They need to pick it up, but aren't quite able to get to it in time.
Yeah, that was good pressure from Yamum. It was just the reverse of what happened in the last game. Them able to get the early push and just play more defensive without taking much risks.
Absolutely. Yamum, of course, now taking this set to 2-2. As I said earlier before we started, taking this set to a Game 5.
Yeah, it is a Game 5. It will be, once again, a Clam Blitz mode. This time on Eeltail Alley.
And now with Eeltail Alley clams coming out, I am going to be rather surprised if we don't see the leader coming back out. You know, Eeltail just having these really, really long sight lines that are great for leader. They're going to be an excellent option for Yamum to be able to defend and support their pushes with.
It definitely are. This is a favorite map of Charger players. I would be highly surprised if we don't see the E-Leader once again.
I would too, as a Charger and Stringer main myself. I know that I am quite a fan of Eeltail Alley. Of course, now both teams have to be feeling the pressure, as it all comes down to this game, whether they continue or not in under pressure tonight. You could say that both teams are feeling under pressure at this moment, as they're gearing up to go into this final game.
Indeed, this one just puts all the pressure on the last game for both the teams, and you just know maybe a bit of a slower start to try and not lose the last game in the opening moments with a strong push. You'll just see them trying to take control of the middle, build as much clams as they can before starting their push, just like in the first game.
Of course, yes, we're definitely going to see probably a little bit of a slower entry. Both teams playing for their lives a little bit more than we did in previous games, as they don't want to go down early. And we actually don't see the return of the leader. I am very surprised here, as Yamum has decided to stick with this aggressive comp for a third time, proving us wrong.
Yeah, holy cow, I did not see that coming. I thought for sure the E-Leader would be there to just try and control as much space as possible. But sticking with the aggressive comp, maybe they're trying to... Their idea is to control the middle with that aggressive comp, as you start to see them do here.
You know, and I definitely think it could work out for them. They showed their dominance on it for on the Mako Mart game. And I think this could be a good matchup for them. I think maybe in the Inkblot game, you saw definitely a map that favored Pixelated's comp, but maps like Eviltail and maps like Mako, I think, provide a much more balanced matchup for these two teams.
Yeah, they do. You see them able to break the basket early with all that space they had held in the middle, and they are just holding them back, trying to collect clams and keep adding to it. But Pixelated able to create some space to keep them out and get their barrier back up.
An opening push to 50 is definitely what you want to see here if you're on your mum. Obviously not necessarily the safest lead ever, but definitely much better than just popping a power in and running. They've got quite a bit of points on the board as they're not letting up the pressure here in Pixelated's base. They are really letting them feel it, but they need to find the clams to be able to reopen the basket. You can see some clams being tossed to the shot there under basket as they are able to make another one, and we see the other power clam being juggled forward to other members of Yamam as they're waiting to push forward here. But with 2 down on the side of Yamam, they need to kind of back off and maybe let that power die there.
They do, yes. You saw the bubble come up to just control that little space in front of the basket. It gave them all the chance to get Pixelated the space occupied and start to push out of their own half.
Yes, and I think we saw Pixelated there trying to make a play. Looks like they tried to make a power jump in, but were eliminated on the jump.
Yes, that's what I saw as well. You start to see them control the space with the crab coming out to try and create an opportunity to push forward. It's so good on these upper areas of Eeltail Alley, and you see a crab get broken almost immediately from your mom. Pixelated doing a good job breaking their barrier.
Yes, they sure do, and Pixelated, they're able to show a very impressive display of force as they break into Yamam's base, but they aren't able to quite hold it and dunk more clams.
Yeah, a very good job from Yamam, just holding off the pressure. That bubble gave them the space to get in the power clam, but not much more from a very coordinated defense from Yamam.
Absolutely. And Yamam turning this mid pink, and you see on the top we've got clams building up, and they are very close to being able to make another power and make a really big push here that could potentially be a knockout.
Yeah, for sure. They do have the pity clam sitting in their base, but Pixelated able to take back a little bit more space in the middle, trying to control and push forward here, but you do see the Gal 7. The Splash with 7, both of them actually, and they'll just be trying to take space to push forward, but Pixelated doing a good job of coming forward themselves, not letting them get pinned back. I'm sure they see how many clams they also have on the side of your mom.
The great shark by the side of the brush that got that pick, zip casted in, trying to find another pick, but was unable to do it. I think time and time again we've seen absolutely wonderful sharks on the side of Pixelated. As they really like to use that stealth to kind of pop up, surprise their enemies from unexpected angles. With 2 down on both sides now, and this mid turning more and more pink, Yamam is doing a great job here of holding this space.
They are indeed, and with 30 seconds left, Pixelated has to come up with something pretty quick to get a push of their own going. You see Yamam with the power clam up the left.
And it looks like they are going to be able to get it in here, and they've got the wipeout on the side of Pixelated here. All these clams go in, and they are able to get a very fast knockout.
Yeah, great job by Yamam. You saw how coordinated they were on both defense and offense. That strong early push and just being patient to get that last push with the wipeout.
Yes. Excellent display there from both Yamam and Pixelated, taking it to a very, very exciting Game 5. Congratulations to both teams. Nothing to feel ashamed of on the side of Pixelated there tonight for that display of show, taking 2 games off of Yamam. Very, very impressive showing.
Was very impressive from both sides. Highly entertaining. Full game of 5 set, and yes, as you said, just nothing to be ashamed of. Great work from both teams.
Absolutely. And we hope will be joining us again here very shortly as we start gearing up for our round 3 match starting very soon. Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready for round 3 here tonight in Under Pressure. We've got a great game coming up. We've got Azathoth versus Woomy Warriors. Crazy players on both sides. This is definitely going to be very intense matches.
Yeah, hard to predict which way this one will swing with just the quality of players on both sides.
Yes, it definitely is. We're going to see lots of fights. I think we may even see a game 5 like we did last set. It's definitely bound to be a very exciting set that we've got lined up for everybody here tonight.
Yes, it is. It looks like we're starting out with tower control on Inkblot. We saw already how quickly a good push can turn into strong defense with that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very interested to see what kind of comps we'll see coming out. If we'll see on both sides, like last match, we saw obviously 2 very aggressive comps that wanted to play very forward, very in your opponent's base. Wondering if we'll see maybe more conventional meta comps coming back out here. See the return of backlines coming into our matches.
Yeah. We most definitely will, I'm sure, and probably we'll see T-Tex on this map. You just saw how essential it is for controlling the plat and for taking back the tower.
Yes, it can, and of course, if you're defending and you've got your strike ready, it can just be a new GG special to throw onto the tower and be able to swim up onto it uncontested.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to keep an eye out for how far they can push on their first push to see how well set up they are for defense. If you don't get a strong first push, however, it's pretty easy to swing either way without controlling a plat.
Absolutely, definitely a map where you have to be able to push forward, get into your enemy's face to be able to protect that tower. That tower goes right through the mid of your opponent's plat, and you know, they have a lot of ways to look down onto you, a lot of ways to throw bombs, pressure you, shoot you. You've got to get your enemy out of your face.
Yeah, for sure. We see the E-leader there already, and the other side, Woomy Warriors going with a very aggressive comp themselves.
Yeah. Oh, we actually see the end battle coming out here. Maybe a wrong weapon choice or wrong player. We'll see what they're gonna return with.
Yeah, we definitely will see. But yeah, with the E-leader, just that one long-range weapon on the side of Azathoth. And we'll have to see how well they can control the space, just giving them so much range.
Okay, actually looks like there was a player that was not ready to go, was not queued up, and they got auto-timed in, so we're going to be restarting the battle here very shortly with all the members of both teams present.
Yeah, certainly unfortunate timing out before you're ready.
Yes. It's nice to see, well, like we said before, we'll see a very aggressive comp on one side, and we do see the E-leader coming back out. We see a more traditional comp on the other side. I'll be very interested to see if the leader gives the team what they need for Azathoth to be able to hold the space better and keep the opponents backed out.
Yeah, for sure. You saw last set that the triple ink strike in your own plat just controls so much space, but with the E-leader, if they're able to push forward, may be able to pick off the triple ink strike before it can come out.
Yeah, so we're going to see this leader all set up here, going to be riding this tower, trying to pressure. We already see one up there in the enemy base, 2 down on the side of Woomy Warriors. Azathoth doing a great job here, applying pressure, already breaking that first checkpoint and moving very swiftly towards the second checkpoint, breaking the crab and applying so much pressure, forcing Woomy Warriors back.
Yes, and they just passed the second checkpoint here. Good job hopping off the tower to not give them space. you saw the special coordination, but the crab coming out is just keeping pressure on a Booyah Bomb, though, just clearing the space for them to continue to push forward.
Yes, they're doing so great here. Oh my gosh, another splat coming down as they're able to break checkpoint 3 and are riding very swiftly towards a knockout. Only 7 points remaining, 2 down on both sides. They just need to push this tower a tiny bit further, and we see the wipeout come out, and they are able to complete this push to a knockout.
They are a strong start from Azathoth. You saw them just completely push forward. The leader did do its job of just giving more space for them to push the tower.
Yes, excellent special coordination there as well. They're able to use their specials so nicely to be able to clear space, force opponents into each other's range, and they just played off of each other very well there.
Yeah, you did. You actually saw the Booyah Bomb doing a lot of that, clearing the space for them, especially when they were heading towards the third checkpoint. The Booyah Bomb just created a barrier between two of Woomy Warriors and the tower to give them the time to push it forward more.
Yes, it did. Very strong display show there. I think also the leader coming out on the side of Azathoth also gave them just a little bit of extra range that they need, and being able to support their front lines as they move forward by applying that just extra bit of pressure.
Yeah, the added range definitely did help there. Just wasn't able to give Woomy Warriors a lot of time to get off their specials and just clear their own plat.
Absolutely. We're going to be gearing up here for round 2, going to Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. We've seen that there's been able to be a lot more success in these previous matches with these very aggro comps in Rainmaker, as they're able to just pick it up and push way up into the enemy space. But of course, with a lot of sight lines that the leader can have from snipe on Sturgeon, it may have a nice time being able to just pick the rain if it's uncontested.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing is, this is a very even split between the two checkpoints. Teams just can choose either one and flip so quickly to go to the other.
They absolutely can. I definitely think this is going to be a great show at both sides. I'm interested to see what Woomy Warriors is going to do, respond after that first game. They definitely know now that they need a way to be able to move that leader. Actually, I say that as the leader does not come back out, we see it trading off for a heavy splatling, still keeping the range in the favor of the side of Azathoth, while actually being able to apply more pressure, really being able to spread the Rainmaker shield, Wavebreaker as well being an excellent option for helping pop and just being able to apply pressure to spaces.
Yeah, it is. Heavy can push forward a little bit more to take advantage of its range while still giving them space to push forward. You see Azathoth with the Rainmaker going up the left path, but being
but they
pushed
fall
back.
off.
Yeah.
But it looks like with 2 down on the side of Woomy Warriors, they're able to swim right back up that block and are going to be able to take the first checkpoint and actually able to back out in time to miss the strike.
They are. Now it's about just finding the time and space to push forward on this. They may have to end up giving this up, but do a good job of getting 2 picks, the Wavebreaker down to take the Rainmaker and not let it reset.
You do, and with this Rainmaker being the last one up, they're just going to try to hold forward and get as many points on the board as they can, knowing that that push is dead.
Yeah, 28 is a good first push. You see them trying to jump back in and control the middle once again.
Absolutely, and we see already one on Azathoth already was inside the base of Woomy Warriors, but does go down, but Azathoth is just kind of everywhere right now, but gets 2 down now for being a little bit too far forward. Woomy Warriors there reminding them like, hey, you can't be in our base for free, and getting those picks on them.
They definitely are. It was a little aggressive of a choice to give Woomy Warriors the space to push up and just take more. You'll probably see the crab on top of the snipe, I would have to imagine.
You do, and you see the toxic mists coming out on the side of the Tri-Slosher, which can be a really great option here for defending. Toxic misting the block can force the opposing team to have to take it to that right checkpoint since they can't make the jump with the misted block.
It is, yeah, and you saw them actually choose not to use the crab on the snipe. They tried to go left to create a path and had to pull it there without having the Rainmaker. You see their second crab come out and get taken down before the checkpoint.
And going down to that heavy, but you do see, as you said earlier, the ability of these teams to be able to just shift and switch which side and checkpoint that they're going to so fast, abandoning that left side push in favor of going to the right side.
Yeah, it's just so easy to flip. You can paint both ways pretty quickly to try and take either checkpoint, and when you do go to one of the sides, since it's a little bit more of a narrow map to make those pushes with the Rainmaker, it's just so easy to flip to the other one.
Yes, it sure is. And now Woomy Warriors holding a very strong control here in mid. So much blue on this side, but 2 down on both sides. You see a crab being popped as Woomy Warriors wants to make sure to try to hold this space until their members can get back in.
It is, the Heavy was doing such a good job of holding them off from picking up the Rainmaker, but then the crab picked them off and they will start to push here.
And with 2 down on the side of Azathoth, Woomy Warriors is going to be able to claim the first checkpoint here.
They do, and we'll have to see now with not a lot of pressure forward. Azathoth is able to clear the space in front of their spawn.
Yes, but huge play there to be able to get that first checkpoint. Now, as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the match, having that first checkpoint cleared means Woomy Warriors won't have to drop the Rainmaker in order to advance past their previous score.
Yeah, they did do a great job of getting that checkpoint. Even though they got taken down, that's so essential for making a last-minute push. And it looks like they are down in the Rainmaker free zone underneath the bridge. Hard to get out, but they do.
And they found a lot of picks there, but the Rainmaker going to explode after running out of time, painting a lot in that base there. Woomy Warriors helping them kind of gain back some more control. But Azathoth is going to hold here in mid, knowing now that with 17 seconds left on the clock, Woomy Warriors is going to have to pick up that Rainmaker and start advancing forward towards them.
Is you saw a trade in the middle there. The Rainmaker resetting, and Azathoth just gets a pick in the middle to secure the game.
They sure do. Woomy Warriors unfortunately not able to get the pop there and continue the game into overtime as Azathoth now takes this set to 2-0.
Yeah, you saw how essential the early push was to them because it was such an even game after that. But the early push just gave them so much time and space to work with. And that was a little bit of a surprising push because the Rainmaker got left all alone to make that extra little push past the checkpoint.
Yes, definitely. And now going into game 3, Woomy Warriors is going to be looking to make the reverse sweep in order to keep their game alive here tonight. And you've got to be thinking at this point that they need to be able to find a way to move Azathoth's backline. That Heavy and the leader of the first game showing time and time again that they know how to sit back, play safe, and pick off the objective. Woomy Warriors is going to need to be able to control their movement to be able to get a push in here, especially on Hagglefish Market where they may have to clear a lot of space forward to be able to safely make pushes.
Yeah, for sure. That's where specials will become so important. Like you said, you saw the ability to just absolutely outrange everyone else with their backline weapons. It just caused all sorts of problems for Woomy Warriors, and you have to imagine that the specials will be the biggest part of pushing forward for the clans for Woomy Warriors.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to see what they're going to bring out here. You know, the backlines, of course, liking to sit up there on that tent. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do there. But they've shown that, you know, even though that they haven't been able to move the backline in the past, that they know how to make pushes. And with this being Clam Blitz, of course, being able to get quickly in and out and make faster pushes can work out better for them than it did in previous games where they needed to hold that objective all the way into the opponent base.
For sure, they definitely know how to make those pushes, and we'll have to see with Clam. It's all about the coordination, all about how many you can get in during one pop.
Absolutely, and I think that they've shown, like, on that Rainmaker game, tower control game, they know how to control space, which is arguably one of the most vitally important spaces in Clan Blitz. Holding space in this mode, of course, allowing you to be able to have better access to flanks, better access to other parts of the maps, lets you see where clams are on the map as they spawn and help you gather them and form your pushes better. That turf control is going to be very important here.
You see here the E-leader coming out once again from Azathoth, and Woomy Warriors sticking with the same comp. They must feel very comfortable in being able to control the space and make pushes.
You know, and I think they have great special options here for being able to deal with that backline. Both Strike and Crab are going to be able to force that leader to have to move off that snipe. It's all about making sure that they know when and where to be able to pop it. The Tri-Strike comes out pretty fast, kind of clearing a wall, but with no one pushing forward of it, Woomy Warriors is able to just kind of back off and respond with specials of their own.
Or you see both sides just trying to get control of the turf to create more clams. Not very many on the field right now for either team.
No, definitely I think a mode where these teams are going to play a little bit safer, play for their lives, to try to build up their pushes. You don't want to recklessly go down and give your enemy control of all this space in mid.
You saw the triple ink strike come out there, get one pick. But Woomy Warriors, just with the very aggressive comp, able to just control the turf so much.
They sure are. Able
yeah,
to just
the wheel coming out, Crab ready.
Yes, they're going to be responding with that Crab here. But this bucket just giving that Crab a hard time, and they go down in their Crab to the bucket. And now the E-leader able to stand uncontested and apply pressure into mid here.
They are both sides having a hard time pushing forward and collecting the clams. Still not many clams for either team right now. A very, very patient battle between the two.
Yes, but with two down on the side of Azathoth, will this be Woomy Warriors' chance to be able to make a push here? They've got a lot of paint forward, but now two down themselves, they're going to be forced to back off. Azathoth now having an opportunity to regain some of this space here in the mid, flipping it orange. Now looking at a very good matchup for them as they start to gather up these clams, looking to make a push of their own.
They already see a triple ink strike come out to try and control some of the space, but unfortunately the inability to swim in the ink causes the T-Tech to go down, and Woomy Warriors has a triple ink strike ready to go of their own that you see right now to try and clear out the space once again.
Yes, just a lot of back and forth, but neither side quite finding the picks that they need to be able to get under the opponent's clam basket. Both members of Azathoth now a little bit further back, but you see that they have a lot of clams, or had a lot of clams until the machine went down there. But now all those clam favor going in favor of Woomy Warriors as they're claiming all this space in mid. They've got they've got still 12 on the board, very close to making 2 powers, and another one goes down as the splash is forced to back up. Azathoth now really clearing space here, needing to get rid of this enemy on snipe, but drops the power going down. Trades with the Crab. Azathoth really needs to try to make a play here while they still have this clam. As it's approaching, a minute 30-second remaining with no points on the board from either team. Azathoth is going to rush forward, but goes short just at the basket, not able to get that power clam in.
Barely. I thought they had snuck past right there to be able to get the one. This may just come down to one push from either side here.
Yes, it may turn into one of those 5+ minute games where a single power clam in overtime is the only thing that matters in the game. And which of course I think just goes to show the strength of both of these teams as they're able to keep each other out. In teams that have a bit more of a skill disparity, you would have already seen a score, and now the fact that both of them are able to respond so well to each other just shows how well balanced these teams are.
Definitely does. It looks like Azathoth has one power clam, but not much else, and they go
With
3 down with Woomy Warriors looking to make a push.
They do, and that was a great opportunity there, stopped by the E-Leader, getting a very vital snipe to Azathoth's defense there, and another one goes down on the side of Woomy Warriors. This E-Leader definitely clutching the game right there, stopping a score from happening.
Yeah, for sure, and you see the extra little range from the scope, just able to control so much space when they are pushed forward and help protect their frontliners.
But 2 down now on the side of Woomy Warriors. They need to be careful. With 9 seconds remaining, this power is rushing forward toward their base, and they are able to open the basket. Woomy Warriors here are going to need to stop Azathoth from getting a clam in and ending the game automatically. And now with a power clam of their own, they need to get the power clam +1 in to end overtime in their favor. But Azathoth here obviously going to be keeping all the pressure. Only a few seconds left in this overtime. They need to rush forward now, but it isn't fast enough.
Was that one push game that did it? It came down to literally the last few seconds. You saw Azathoth barely able to squeeze in the clam, but it was just enough for them to take the set.
Absolutely brilliant set there, played well by both teams here tonight, as Azathoth is going to move forward in our tournament.
Yeah, it is, and just such a good display from both teams. It never felt out of control for either, except for that early tower control just kind of set the tone for Azathoth, but Woomy Warriors just holding their own so well.
Absolutely, and we'll be getting ready here to go into round 4, but not before me and Quinn sign off for the night, as we're going to be handing over the mic to Weef and Broken Pinky. So one more time, thanks for having us two on. My name is Toma. You can find me at Crest of Gautier on Twitter, or ttoma_ on Twitch. Where can they find you one more time, Quinn?
Yeah, this is Quintendo signing off. You can find me on Twitter at harmonies_fish. It was a pleasure to be here tonight, and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Under Pressure. I am here joined with Weef and we got, I believe, Mictlan versus the Lads. Weef, how you doing this night?
Oh, I'm having a day, but I'm excited for this match. Mictlan, we know, many very iconic team. They are, I believe, Div 1 this season, and very, very powerful. But they're also going against the Lads, which is a absolutely stacked team full of players many of us will recognize. So it's really the test of, okay, we have some players that are just objectively amazing at the game versus a team that might be a little bit worse off mechanically and game sense wise, but they just have the synergy of having worked together for so long. I believe Mictlan's been together for quite a while, so we'll see. We'll definitely see how it turns out here.
Exactly, yeah. As you said, Mictlan has been together for a while, but there's just some names on the Lads that you just cannot ignore. Orion, Jared, Rob, Terra, absolute juggernauts of the scene. They're very strong players, so yeah, I think it will come down to just if Mictlan can really get their coordination together and really play as a team, I think they could really have a strong chance here. But yeah, this is the first set of this block, and we are starting off right here in semifinals, which means it's going to be the second to last set of the tournament, I believe, which pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, and we're getting right into it. We have Museum Clan Blitz, a very long-range favored stage, and of course we're going to see Mictlan Hero, one shot on Mictlan Heroes bring out their E-leader, and the Lads opting for a more slightly quirky comp with a Squeezer and Tetris and Inkbrush, which aren't weapons you see super often, but are weapons that are super fun to watch. So we're going to get right into it.
Yeah, Inkbrush and Tetra was a combination you would sort of see towards the end of Splatoon 2, before everything went full, Splatoon 2 as we know it today. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Orion and Rob on the brush and the Tetra respectively are just gonna really open a hole for the rest of their teammates to really just push through. But right now, it is Mictlan really starting to corner the Lads just a little bit here. But Mictlan is one down. Splash not quite going down yet. Go down the 52, and now Mictlan has the two-man advantage, and they have a football on their side. So, and they get the Inkbrush down as well. It's just that Squeezer left alive on the side of the Lads, and Mictlan is already at their basket with that 52. 52 gets another pick on those Tetras, I believe, and yeah, Mictlan's in a fantastic spot to get that first push going and break that basket right off the bat.
You see they got a jump in there, and they are all ready and all ready to go. They have a bubble that they're going to jump from mid to plateau, but unfortunately they take a little bit too long to get set up, and they only get that first clam in with no follow-up, which is a very unfortunate thing due to the strong nature of long extended pushes in Clam Blitz. Right now, Mictlan Heroes is 2 down, and we do see the Lads take advantage of their fast comp to try to move up onto their plat as fast as they can. They do end up going down as Mictlan Heroes is beginning to respawn, so they are at a slight disadvantage right now, but with how fast their comp is, that could change at any moment here, and we do see them have Crab and the one-man advantage.
Yeah, exactly. The Lads knows that they were able to get a very good stop on Mictlan's push, and now they have a great chance to make a push of their own. That is going to be 2 down on Mictlan Heroes, although the Junior is just respawning, but that's the 52 down as well. And the Lads are just picking out Mictlan Heroes one by one. Here comes the Inkbrush and the Tetra dive, and it looks like it's going to be enough to break the basket. Yes, it is. We now are seeing Terra on that Splash-O-Matic, just trying to make something happen, trying to get some nice picks, because what Mictlan struggled to do was keep that push extended, and it looks like the Lads are going to struggle to do that as well. Not really getting any picks by the basket, and more importantly, not getting any clams in there, which is surprising. I wouldn't expect, at 230 that both teams would be at 80 and 81, but I mean, that's sometimes just how Clams Museum goes. But that basket's already being broken once again, and the Lads take the lead off that. And now they don't have any clamps at their disposal, but maybe they can just annoy Mictlan as much as possible and just stay in their plat potentially.
It is absolutely fascinating how none of these pushes that these really high-level teams have stuck, and we do see a bit of weird little spectator lag there, but none of these pushes have stuck, and which is weird because Clam Blitz, oh my goodness.
Okay. Black magic.
We're ignoring
this. The 1.0 machine everyone was scared of, and it gets the kill.
Weird lag aside. None of these pushes have stuck, which is just so weird because these teams are going to be experts in knowing how to set up well, but nothing they're doing is really lasting. The Lads gets their third power clam of the game in, but it doesn't stick. They get immediately pushed back out, even though they do have the clams to potentially get a really solid push going. And we just see one by one, they're just chipping away at each other's baskets and not making really any real impact. We do see the leader go down the side of Mictlan here, which is huge, which would allow the lads fast comp to go in, and they do go 3 down. The last member does jump out, and the lads is starting to get into a good spot here, but we'll see if they're able to get their push to finally stick.
Yeah, they have roughly 1 minute left to defend, well, 1.5 including overtime. And we do see 2 balls on the side of Mictlan Heroes, and that's going to be 2 dead on the side of the lads. The 52 goes down, though, and the Crab is able to get the trade as well. So now, with everyone from the lads respawning again with that quick respawn, yeah, Mictlan's in a terrible spot right now. They're 3 dead. Everyone's coming from spawn right now, and that E-leader is going to take some time to get set up, which means it's going to be very difficult for Mictlan here. But the nice pick on the Tetris by the E-leader, very well done, and now we're seeing this E-leader POV and trying to make something happen desperately because Mictlan knows that they need to not only break that basket, but just get a few more clams in. And so far, this game has just been getting power clams in and dying pretty much immediately, which is, I mean, as we've said a lot of times, it's very peculiar, but this leader's just trying to open some point of the map up. There go the Tetras down on the side of the lads. Mictlan has a slight advantage here, but the Tetra, with that quick respawner already back, and the machine is dead, getting shredded through their booyah. And Mictlan does not have a whole lot of firepower going for them. They have a good amount of map control, but the volatility of the clams isn't there. But the nice snipe on the brush could be what they need to get things started. They get the pick on the Tetris as well. It's 3 versus 2 in the favor of Mictlan Heroes, but now we're in overtime. They have 20 seconds to make it to that basket, and right now, you can see the lads really defending that left side of the map, that much easier, much shorter push option. And it's just so hard for Mictlan to break through at this point, just because it's being so well painted and so well patrolled that it feels like they can't quite make it to the enemy basket in time, and I think that's going to be it for game 1.
That was certainly one of the most games of all time. Nothing really too interesting happened there, other than, you know, the inherent fact that nothing happened. No, the fact that nothing happened was interesting in itself.
Yeah,
which is so weird because these teams are both very, very skilled, and you'd think they would both be able to figure out how to have the one-up on each other and just get them locked out for, you know, at least a few seconds to get more than just the power claim in, but we just never saw it, which is fascinating. But I believe we will be seeing something different from round 2 off of Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy, where it's going to be a lot easier to get a sustained push going because you don't have to have the insane amount of control that you do have to have on Clamblitz. It's much, much easier to get a sustained push going on Splat Zones.
Yeah, Clamblitz, especially on Museum, is just very awkward because of, you know, how the clams spawn on that map, so we're gonna see. But yeah, as we've said, we're gonna be heading right on over to Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy, and I cannot count how many times I've heard the stage be referred to as the true neutral of this game, and we saw 2 teams quite literally in a very pure neutral state where they very rarely got a breakaway, so we might see more of the same. We might see that zones timer just take down ever so incrementally. Maybe we'll see a comp change from either side, you know, because I doubt the lads won in the way they wanted to. I feel like with the comp they had, they would have rather broken a bigger hole rather than just get the clam in and die. So I feel like maybe just a small strategy change just to make sure that they can fully pierce through the defenses of the Mictlan Heroes and really take control of that plat area, because that's where things start to get devastating on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yeah. I don't see Mictlan leaving that E-leader behind. It's a really strong weapon on a lot of the maps in this game, but especially on Inkblot and especially on Splat Zones. And we just saw the lads there really struggle against it as they didn't have, like, it just slowed down the pace of the game for them so much that they weren't able to take advantage of their incredibly fast comp and get in. But we do see, I believe that this is the same exact comp from the side of the lads, and a similar but different comp from Mictlan Heroes, I believe.
Yeah, we see the custom junior instead of the vanilla junior, which, you know, makes sense considering jumps aren't as important in Inkblot just because it's a much smaller map. But we're just gonna get right into things here. That leader's already set up for success. We can see the Tetris already in the zone, but the zone immediately gets capped by Mictlan, and the Tetris go down very quickly, which is a bit of a double-edged sword because that means for the rest of the match, the Tetris will have QR on their side, but the brush goes down as well for Mictlan Heroes, or on the side of the lads, and Mictlan Heroes is holding the zone pretty well starting out.
Oh yeah, 100%. We already see them all move up. They're taking their fights wisely, and the entire mid is painted orange. it's a stalemate so far in terms of getting back out of plat on the side of the lads, and even though one does go down, they still do have their E-liter in to give those quick jumps and make sure that mid is not easy to move through. The ever-watching eye of the E-liter is going to make sure that it's not comfortable to move around, and you're not going to be able to go for some really ballsy plays because you'll get shot. One shot will take one shot, and it will kill. And we see them go 3 down, and that's really looking good for Mictlan here as they're already going on 30.
Yeah, Mictlan's in a fantastic spot right now. It's just that Squeezer left alive on the lads. Obviously, now everyone is respawning, but that Squeezer's in a very awkward spot. They are zooping from the bottom left of the map, but they're pretty far away from the action, and already the lads are starting to run out of time here. You know, Mictlan's already got this down to 11. The lads really need to get this zone here in this team fight, but right now, Mictlan is 2 dead, and yeah, the leader and the 52 are not going to be enough to keep that zone, and right now, the lads finally have a chance to really make something happen. We see Jared on that Squeezer, you know, trying to abuse just that insane long range it has, trying to get the poke in the spawn of Mictlan heroes, but just not quite able to happen. But we're seeing the lads just really sort of spread out and try to take as much space as possible. The pick on the leader, very well done on the lads to get that kill on the leader, because as we've mentioned a lot, leaders just so dominating in this game. But the 52 is able to take down one of the players on the side of the lads, the Tetris, I believe, and maybe Mictlan's going to convert this into getting the zone back.
Yeah, if they can get that zone back, it's going to be huge. But unfortunately, I believe that, I can't remember their name, but the 52 does go down, which does make it so it's hard to get a zone, but then they just turn it back around. Got a 3-down situation on the lads and are making it, they applied that fat penalty. It's really looking good for them. They're starting to, you know, the clock is starting to tick down, and they only have about, you know, even though they do have a fat penalty themselves, we do see the brush going for this flank here, pushing the either out to mid. That's actually a very big play, and giving jumps into the plat there. The map is completely upside down right now, and Mictlan goes 2 down, which means that this zone is going to flip, and the only person left alive is Lex, that 52 gal. What an interesting play.
Very good. I mean, Inkbrush is really good at getting those dives and getting behind the enemy and giving those jumps to Orion. Really well played from the two of them, and they're just able to clean it up and show why Inkbrush and Tetris were such a pertinent duo at the end of Splatoon 2, and maybe they need a little more attention in this meta, but the Tetris are going to go down pretty early before they're able to cause more mayhem, and it's a very good play from the machine on the side of Mictlan Heroes, just trying to keep the lads off of their plat, because as we've shown, if Inkbrush gets behind there, it can be devastating. Nice pick on Orion there on the side of Mictlan Heroes. That's going to be 2 dead as well, but the lads are out of their zone penalty. They are going to get the zone back, though. And the lads are still quite a bit away from getting this lead with penalty involved, and right now they don't have a whole lot of time to get it back. There's only a little over a minute left in this game.
Yeah, how frustrating for the lads that they get so close, get so far, and they're beginning to go down yet again. Mictlan's just taking mid back right now and making sure that it's going to be a while before the lads can even think about getting that lead back, as one goes down and the other gets jump camped, which is really unfortunate for them, because that means it's just going to be longer and longer until they can get out of their spawn. Jared, though, taking the zone by storm, and they get a wipe, and they're going to be immediately moving up into their plat and making sure that they get a lockout as fast as they can, so that they have about 30 or so seconds before they can really be comfortable here. But there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, exactly, but the lads are pushed really far up. Mictlan is 2 dead. It's just going to be well, now everyone's respawned, but the Custom Junior goes down. There's only 3 left on the side of Mictlan Heroes, and that leader's not a great painter. Here comes the Booyah Bomb, but it's not enough to stop the lead switch, and it looks like the lads are in really good danger of just knocking this out here. Yeah, none of Mictlan's in the zone right now, and that's going to be game 2 going to the lads once again.
I don't know if you saw there, but at the end, the ink brush on the side of the lads was hanging off the box on their plat and ambushed a few players. What we saw some really fun, just chaotic plays from the side of the lad that game. From that jump that we saw to that the cheeky hiding on the back of the box. There was just a lot there to watch, and it was very fun. But it almost felt like the exact opposite of the game that we just saw, the Clan Blitz Museum game, and that instead of, okay, we're all gonna struggle to get in and really get things rolling, it was a struggle to get back out. The other teams just kept getting in and taking hold, and it was just a massive gambit to get back out and try to get the zone back yourself.
After Mictlan's first push, it just felt like nothing was really sustained, but the lads were finally able to get that push to 20 and then once again get that knockout in the crucial last moments of the match. So right now, the lads are up 2-0 in the set up against Mictlan Heroes, and this is a best of 5 set, which means the lads are just one win away from taking the set over Mictlan 3-0, and they have 3 more chances to do it. If Mictlan wants to win this set, they have to win all 3 maps straight, and they're going to have to start here and now on Tower Control Eeltail Alley, and this is going to be a very interesting stage to start with, in my opinion. What do you think of this weave?
Interesting is certainly a word to describe it. It's so, to me it feels claustrophobic. There's just not a lot of room to move vertically, and it is yet again a map where range can be, like, in terms of long range weapons, can be very, very powerful because there's so many, like, you can see all the way through mid. There's not much cover in terms of places you can hide behind and not get one shot by one shot.
You know that all too well, the Hydra main.
Certainly. I certainly believe that the reverse sweep is possible on the side of Mictlan. These games have been very, very close, with the lad just taking that slight edge and taking it to the very end. But if they don't make it, they're out, since this is a single elim. So there is a lot on the line here, and I'm excited as we get right into it.
Yeah, we're going to be hopping right into Game 3 of the series. The lads up 2-0. They win this game, they move on and knock out Mictlan Heroes. So this is really going to be, this is a really important match. If the lads win it, the set's just over. We move on to Grand Finals, and neither team opted to change their comp other than, Cass on that custom junior casting on the custom junior. Sorry, I got that wrong. I missaw the weapon a little bit, but yeah, we're once again in that neutral state where both teams are really just trying to get that pick in that team fight. Crab is already coming out from the lads, and that's one thing that they definitely have over Mictlan Heroes, is they have one crab, Mictlan has none. They have a good amount of ways to deal with it, with the wall to stall it, the whale, the machine hit over it, but they don't have a crab themselves. But right now, doesn't seem to be a disadvantage at all in this opening team fight, as both the Brush and the Tetra go down on the side of the lads. But the 52 gets a little overzealous and gets taken out by the Squeezer. Pretty solid defense, Mictlan just couldn't quite get a footing to get a push going. But the Squeezer, I believe, gets a really nice kill with that Zuka as well before they go down.
Oh, the torpedo. Mictlan right now, they're not in a hot spot. The lads are definitely going to get this checkpoint here, and they're going to be well on their way to the second, just because they went 3 down. They dared to go 3 down, and their leader is going to have a very hard time getting set back up, because there's not a lot of perches in this map that you can get to without being contested, even though we do see the clutch pick from one shot, which is going to reverse the roles and make sure that they're going to be back out. The lads is essentially wiped here, which means that the shoe is on the other foot now, and they have to make it back out. Very back and forth so far.
Like, but what's a wipe to a Tetra? You're back in a second and a half anyway, if we're being honest. But right now, the lads are 2 dead. The splash is coming from spawn, but that Brush was down for quite a bit. And Tetra's pretty far from the tower, but putting a lot of pressure on one shot on that leader, forced to back up just a little bit. The Tetras are just aggressing the leader, and they actually do get the pick, which is very crucial for the lads. The Tetras are still behind Mictlan at this point, trying to get the pick on the machine, and they are able to get the machine roll right into the splash hole, but get some damage on the 52 and get the assist on it as well. And that's really crucial, as Mictlan's push is stopped before they can even reach the second checkpoint, which means they're a decent amount away from getting the lead back, and now the lads are having their chance at getting their second push going.
Yeah, once again, we're seeing similar issues here. Neither team can really get a solid footing, and it's so interesting to see. The lads here, though, is going to get to the second checkpoint, and it does look like they're going to ride it. The 52 is going to get canceled out here by that reef slider, and they are still 3 down. It's just the machine. It's just the leader right coming back, and they just broke that second checkpoint, meaning they are going to be starting to push in further. The Squeezer does try to go for a valiant pick on the leader, but they don't quite get it, but it does end up being important as the leader does go down, and it's 7 points left, and there's a all-out war on the tower before the game does go to the lads, and the set goes to the lads as well.
Yeah, game, set, and match to the lads, but you gotta commend Mictlan here. You know, they kept it really close in games 1 and 2. It was, especially in that zones match, they had the lead for the majority of the game, but the lads just pulling ever so slightly ahead, and they were able to ride the momentum of the first 2 games of just a very strong few pushes on that tower control game, and they're gonna take the set 3-0 over Mictlan, and that means the lads, I believe, are gonna be moving on to grand finals of this tournament.
Fantastic. I'm going to take a look at the bracket here and see who they might be facing. It looks like it's going to be the lads versus Seafoam, which is Seafoam is a Div X team, so that's going to be very, very interesting. So, such a strong team versus such a strong pickup. Exciting, and I cannot wait to see it, like I said.
Yeah, and both of these teams, I would like to point out, both of these teams 3-0'd their semifinals opponents to get to grand finals, so maybe these teams are gonna find a good challenge in each other. Maybe we might see a full set, but moving on to grand finals, I believe the set goes from best of 5 to best of 7, which means you're gonna have a few more games to get through, but there's certainly gonna be a lot of great Splatoon action coming in our grand finals shortly.
Yep, see you then. Welcome back to Under Pressure's Krillstreak, actually. Welcome to Grand Finals. This is going to be an amazing match. We have Seafoam versus the Lads. Seafoam being an established team. We've got Max, Madness, Barry, Shadowwind, Omega, and Vo versus the Lads, which is a pickup of very formidable players. And we just saw the Lads absolutely dominate in the last set. But they're up against a bit more of a formidable opponent, so it's really anyone's game to see how this will go. Pinky, what are your thoughts as we go into Grand Finals once again?
I mean, I don't know. You know, we saw in semifinals, you know, the Lads did get that 3-0 on Mictlan Heroes. While it was a hard-fought battle, you know, it was still a 3-0 nonetheless. And we also see that, or also on the other side of brackets, Seafoam 3-0 their opponents make it here, so maybe both of these teams are looking for, you know, we might see a bit of a challenge with these teams, you know, that might not have struggled as much with the rest of the tournament, but, I mean, as you've stated, these are some very high caliber players, you know, players we all recognize, you know, we got the boys on the Lads, you know, just a very, very strong pickup group, and of course, Seafoam, you know, you got Shadowwind, Max, Madness, Barry, these are all such well-established players playing at such a high caliber, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
I already listed off their roster. You can't do that again. That's illegal. Anyway,
okay, I can say it with more gusto, which I didn't, but I can pretend I did.
I'm gonna ignore the fact that you said that. We're gonna go right in. Whoa, never mind. We're not gonna go right into
We're
it.
gonna do the opposite of going right in.
Cut it. Anyway,
I guess before we hop into things, I should mention you did see it was best of 7. That does mean that, you know, we do have potentially 7 maps. The first to get 4 wins will win not just the set but the tournament, because, you know, at this point, Grand Finals, all the marbles are on the line, and you know, once we get there, we're going to be starting things on Spots on Tagglefish.
in case you're unfamiliar with Krillstreak, this is the series that is it's a single elim. It's been single elim all night, which means that it's been high stakes. It is the teams that have made it here, Seafoam and Lads, have indeed been on a Krillstreak, and so, like we said, we're starting out on, I can't quite remember what it was. Hagglefish, you said?
Yeah, it was Hagglefish Zones.
What a fantastic stage you started off on. I'm a big fan. You know this. Most people know this. It's a map that we're really gonna see Barry on that really strong E-leader kind of dominate on, just due to the insane sightlines on this map. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Lads is going to try to deal with that, whether they're going to really go in hard on the displacement specials, or if they're just going to try to avoid it at all costs.
I mean, we did see a few solid displacement options on the side of the Lads, you know. That brush does have that whale to really just kind of force itself in, and those Tetris are just annoying as all heck, as you know, and of course, there's the counter crab, you know, the wall to protect some teammates, as you could. The Lads definitely has options to deal with leader, but I don't know, Hagglefish is a very strong leader map, and I think we're going to be seeing Barry on that leader, as you said, and Barry's a very good leader player, so I don't know, it's going to be interesting, but I mean, we're going in the first game of the set, so it's kind of hard to predict how things are going to go just before we even see them, so I mean, we might just have to jump in and see what happens.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Hagglefish Zones. Are the boxes on Hagglefish Zones, or is that the one of the only modes that doesn't have the boxes?
Yeah,
okay,
boxes.
so we know the real winner is gonna be the one who breaks the boxes first.
True. Yeah, we're gonna evaluate the box breaks. If we see a burst bomb being thrown to the boxes, they automatically win.
Of course.
No,
Ooh, we do see a change. No, we actually don't see a change on the side of the Lads. I was looking at the other team, but we do see that Nautilus come out, which is a really interesting pick. It's been buffed recently, so we're seeing it used a bit more often, but it's still kind of a dark horse of a pick where not something you see too often. We do see right off the back, Seafoam is going two on the right. They do go 2 down. Their Nautilus and their T-Tech are down, but the Crab is still there, Shadowwind on the Crab, and the E-leader is also still watching, so that means that the Lads aren't going to be able to take full advantage like they would normally be until they get the collateral on the Inkzuka and get a full-on wipe. Okay, wow.
Jared has been a menace on the Zuka today. My goodness. getting the nice collateral into the team wipe, and now, you know, as you were saying, the Lads were kind of struggling to get their footing, but they definitely have their footing now, and, you know, Hagglefish is a map mode where, you know, Hagglefish Zones is very scary with getting locked out, but Seafoam certainly has the tools to get back in, you know, Nautilus is trying to make something happen on the 10, but it's getting pressured by the whales. The Tetris are just so irritating, just dodging back and forth, and they actually trade with the Nautilus, and that's definitely a trade that the lads will take, because they still have the numbers advantage versus Seafoam. That Charger is down, which means the lads just have so much room to move. The Charger is coming back, but right now that point is in the 30s. Shadow is in that Crab on that 10th though, trying to make something happen. Tetris go down, Crab gets the pick on the brush as well, and Seafoam's going to be getting that cap back.
Yeah, they use their specials really well there to they capitalize on everything and ended up getting Zoe back, which means that they do have a chance. They are starting to get picks, and leader has a special. I believe I saw some other specials like the rain come out, and hopefully they can sustain this. The Tetris go down on the side of the lads again. The Nautilus goes down, and we're gonna see Jared try to make something happen again, once again with that Inkzuka. Unable to get a pick with it though, unfortunately. The Crab on that 10th though is going to make it really hard for Seafoam to get back in, but they're still managing, they're still holding it even at a standstill, and now it's going to start ticking again. It's not much time left until they start encroaching on the lads' lead, which is definitely very, very scary for them.
I mean, they're already encroaching on it here. They're below 15 points away from it, and in zones it's about a 10-second difference, and yeah, they're getting real dangerously close. The lads have to respond here. And it looks like they're trying to, but 2 go down, 3 go down, and Seafoam's going to keep the zone a little bit longer. It's just the Ink Rush alive for the lads, and that's going to be a lead flip for the side of Seafoam. The brush goes down too. All of the lads are going to be coming from spawn. Here comes Shadow on that Crab, trying to just keep the lads away from the zone for enough time for them to get the knockout. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's going to do it with the wipeout, and Seafoam taking game 1 over the lads in Grand Finals.
Oh, I love watching Seafoam play. Always. That was so great. Just the way that they really took their time and started to get their specials, and didn't really seem to panic even when the counter got down to 20 points. They took their time, they got their specials, they popped them, and they got back in, and they held it like champions there. So, we'll see how they do in round 2, which is going to be Tower Control on Museum, which is going to be yet another map that Barry is going to really control there with his awesome leader.
I'm surprised to be hearing you say leader's awesome, considering you main High Drive. I thought you would have a little more of a negative connotation toward it, but
I have respect. I have respect for fellow backline players. What can I say? I see a backline. I like a backline.
That's fair. You don't see a lot of backlines anymore, but I mean, just looking at the map list for the set, you know, Game 6 is going to be back on Hagglefish. Game 4 is going to be on Scorch, which is a great leader map. This is going to be, I mean, this is just a great leader set in general, so things are going to look very favorable for Seafoam if they can really make the most out of having Barry. But yeah, we're going to be heading to Game 2 on Tower Control Museum, and this is definitely, I mean, I think it's one of the more popular museum modes. It's not quite as popular as, say, Clamblets, but definitely better than Zones. You know, you do have that very easy option to get onto that plat with that block on the right side. The spinner in the middle does move kind of awkwardly with the tower, though, which can throw some things off, but more importantly, you really need to make sure you have control both around and in front of the tower, and just getting that push up onto that plat and breaking that second and third checkpoint is just so challenging. So whichever team is going to coordinate a little better is going to just get so much so much mileage out of their pushes on the stage.
I think the mid spinner adds a lot of dimension to the stage, especially in tower control, just based on once you start pushing the tower, it takes away your route into the enemy space, which means that there is an advantage to holding off a bit, like even longer than you'd normally want to get on the tower, because you can start funneling your teammates onto their plat and make it so where it's going to be the second checkpoint is going to be a free ride compared to if you would just went ahead and taken the tower just to trying to get that checkpoint and wouldn't be able to hold it as long. So I just think it adds a bit of dimension, and we'll see if any of the teams use it to their advantage as we go into game 2.
We're hopping right in. We don't see any change of comp in the lads, I believe.
Yes, we do. We see double splash.
Oh, double splash. I'm blind. And we see change of comps on Seafoam too. I need to open my eyes a little bit, I guess.
The grand finals, the splashes are coming out to play. Nobody wants to lose, and double splash is just the easy ticket to victory in this meta right now.
I mean, let's be honest, nothing's free at this point, but, you know, the lads are trying to, you know, respond with their crabs, with an extra crab of their own, just to really try and break Seafoam's formation, and they're already doing just that, getting 2 down very quickly. And Seafoam opting to bring the vanilla slosher, which typically was not an option you saw, considering it was just a team that's very outclassed by Machine, but, you know, now that the Tri-Strikes are buffed and Machine was nerfed pretty heavily, Slosher has a real place to shine on these more aggressive comps that Seafoam is running a little bit. So we're going to see what Max can get done with this bucket. They do get the assist on the Tetris, but are going to get taken out by the Crab Tank. And so is their teammate on the Splash-O-Matic. That's going to be 3 dead. Oh, I'm sorry. People are just going down left and right, but in the end of that exchange, the Lads is going to be up 3-2, now 4-3 with everyone respawning. But right now, it's just such a neutral state right now in the middle of the map. No team is really able to get control of that tower, and we haven't really seen a push surface yet in the first minute.
All these big scraps and very few points to show for it. Seafoam goes 2 down, but they do try to get a push off there. It's anyone's game right now, even though the Lads still has man advantage. Seafoam's coming right out the gate, and the leader is just such a strong force. That means that it's going to be very hard to push in, even if the rest of the team goes down. The Crab is on the tower, which is going to make it much more difficult to hit and much more difficult to approach. And it looks like they're starting to get a really good push set up here. Jared doing work with the Zuka, even if he's not getting kills with it, he's definitely distracting. You don't want to get hit by that Zuka, and Barry is taking an approach to try and stall the tower just a little bit more. We see another crab on the tower, 2 crabs out on the field right now, as it's just a scramble to try to get them off.
I mean, this is what you have double crabs for, to just keep yourself on the tower with that 500 HP, but, you know, the Lads are still keeping this push going. They got 2 down on the side of Seafoam. Barry is on that leader.
Nice!
Oh, dirty snipe onto Jared. What an insane play from Barry, but most of their team is dead, but that was exactly what they needed, actually, to just get the Lads out of there. Very nice pick from Barry, but very well done from... It was a trade, but...
That got clipped. Anyway.
It had to have. Come on.
So we're seeing Seafoam start to take the upper hand here. Specials up, both of their crabs up, and we definitely do see those there, even if it does go immediately down, unfortunately. The Barry gets the amazing snipe and throws way back around the tower, meaning it's going to be harder to approach, but we just see crabs left and right. There's almost no point in calling them out just because we're seeing them so often on the tower, on the plat, in the gallery. They're everywhere.
There's a crab infestation. They climbed out of the water on the sides of the museum, I guess, but the crab is going to get the pick on the Tetris. Very well done on the side of Seafoam. They still have control of this tower, and they need to break the second checkpoint if they want to get this lead from the Lads. You know, they don't want to drop again. They just would like to win this as soon as possible. Very well played on the side of Seafoam, you know, rushing down Jared on that squeezer, getting that kill, and now Seafoam is past that second checkpoint. They still have all their teammates alive. It's going to be Barry still on that tower with a crab joining them, but 2 are dead. 1 goes behind the crab, though, and is able to get the pick, but it's a wipeout on the side of the Lads, and Seafoam is going to get this lead here and try to push this into a knockout. The Tri-Strikes are coming out to try and keep the Lads away from the tower as much as possible, and Seafoam go up 2-0 versus the Lads.
That was a very, very decisive victory at the end. It was a really, really dirty match for such a long time, with just a lot of scrapping in mid with no real pushes. But first the Lads got that nice push off, and then Seafoam, you know, they got scared and they decided to just end it there. That's how that looked from an outsider's perspective. And that was a cool match. I'm a big fan.
As many people say, they just decided to start winning, and you know what? They did just that. But yeah, Seafoam, very hard-fought victories, but they're going to go up 2-0 in the set right here. They're not quite at match point yet. They do need to get up to 4 wins, but Seafoam has put themselves in a phenomenal position in this set, and we talked about how good Leader is on these first 2 maps, but Leader's also going to be amazing on this game 3, which is going to be on Eeltail, I believe. No, not Rainmaker. Is it Clam Blitz?
I think it was Rainmaker, actually.
Is it Rainmaker?
Wait.
No way. It is Rainmaker.
It is Rainmaker. 2 Rainmakers in a row. What? Fantastic.
In a row?
Is that a error we see, or is that actually the set? Okay, so that's round.
Okay.
We got informed that round 4 is definitely supposed to be clams on dry water instead. So we're so it's not 2 Rainmakers in a row, but Rainmaker is certainly one of the most modes of all time.
You're being ever so descriptive today, Weave. Yeah, Splatoon is one of the most games of all time.
I have no words.
I mean, you know what? a man of few words, I guess. I don't really know.
Is it not effective? It's that how better would you describe Rainmaker? It's fast-paced. It's really back and forth if you play it right, and really fun to watch. Therefore, it is one of the most modes of all time, and Eeltail is an even more map of all time. And we'll go right on to it, but...
I think Rainmaker is incredibly competitive until it isn't. And then one just kind of runs away, but we might see that. Double Splash is back, this time augmented by the
Double
brush.
Splatling from Barry.
Heavy Splatling coming out on the side of Barry instead of that leader. But, you know, Barry is going to be the longest range weapon on this map, especially since the lads have dropped their squeezer for this game in favor of bringing that brush back. The Nautilus on the side of Seafoam is going to stay, or come back, I guess, from game 1. So, yeah, but they do still have the Tri-Strikes. The Splash goes down immediately, as is the Nautilus, though. The lads are up 3-1 in this opening team fight. It's just Barry on that Heavy Splatling, being forced to run away by that crab. And now the lads have a very easy... Oh, they don't quite get the first checkpoint, though. The Heavy Splatling able to just get a few bullets in before they go down. And now we're seeing Madness on that Nautilus get the pick on the Splash. Does go down, though. But there's only 2 left on the side of the lads around this Rainmaker, and that's 2 left on the side of Seafoam, 2 defended. You can see Orion on these Tetris going deep into the base of Seafoam. Here comes that Reslider going just a little bit further, not getting a kill, and they do get taken out in the end lag. Invisibility's not able to help them there, and it looks like Seafoam is going to be able to push the lads out of their spawn, but they're still just getting pestered from so far away by these whales, but it looks like that's where that push is going to end.
Yeah, it ends with the Rainmaker being reset, which it looks like Seafoam's on the upper hand. We see some crab on crab action here, as both end up shredding each other, and we see burst bombs going out. 2 down on the side of Seafoam yet again. Madness and the T-Tech are down, which means that it's going to be the lads' green signal to go push again, especially with that crab watching bridge and making sure that Seafoam is not going to be able to get a really good position here. Madness goes down, Max looks like they're going to go down, and it's only Barry yet again, and that is a free first checkpoint on the side of the lads.
Well, now it's a free first checkpoint, and Rob is there with that brush to get that very quick pop, but they're just going to be running ahead. Does get the trade with Madness on that Nautilus, very well done, and now the lads are going to push the Rainmaker to 19.
Yeah, no, that is not an easy lead to get through, especially with that slick there, making it pretty hard to push. And with Seafoam just taking their sweet time and getting back to mid, it's going to be a while until they have the control to be able to make a big push like that.
Yeah, they have to get it to 18 here in order to get the lead from the lads. They do get the quick pop, but they have not grabbed the Rainmaker yet. And we're already halfway through this match, you know. We're getting towards the 2:30 mark, and Seafoam really hasn't made anything happen, but the pick on the Tetris happens. But the Splash goes down to the side of Seafoam as well. This Nautilus is trying to dance around the Rainmaker, does get the pick on the Splash, but the lads still have the number advantage, and that's only going to get exasperated by the Nautilus going down by the Splash-O-Matic, and Seafoam losing a lot of control in mid here as the lads seize control of the Rainmaker once again.
Yeah, it's really been a struggle for Seafoam to get out. It seems like the lack of the leader as their strong rock has made it difficult. The Heavy Splatling is a weapon that the range is impressive, and it's by far the longest range weapon in this match, but it's still not nearly as dominant, and they might be struggling to find how to play around that versus the strong, really strong presence of the leader. It's something that they're definitely looking to struggle with right now. The burst bomb, or not the burst bomb, that's actually a splat bomb that exploded right off the Rainmaker shield that did end up getting the Tetras. They're going to come right back out with their QR. But it looks like Seafoam is finally starting to take control of mid here and get up onto their bridge and make sure that it's going to be harder to actually push in before that Rainmaker gets reset and before they feel comfortable pushing.
Yeah, they've had a lot of chances where they've stalled, or they've had a lot of control, but they finally got the Rainmaker for the first time here in the last quarter of the match. But 2 of them are going down immediately. Here comes the Ink Brush trying to get to that Rainmaker, trying to get that supporting cast. Not quite able to get the pick, but just now getting the pick on the Rainmaker, and that's just going to delay Seafoam a little bit longer. And at this point, the lads have the lead they need. There's only a minute left for Seafoam to make something happen. So if the Ink Brush and the Tetris can just continue to just make these dives and really just stall out Seafoam, it's going to be very difficult for them. And the Tetris are already making these dives, but they do go down. As is the Ink Brush, it's just the splashes of life from the lads. One is going to crab, but the Nautilus is going to try and come behind and shred it, and that's going to happen. The splash is going to go down as well. So now, Seafoam has their chance to make that push happen. They're going for that right side checkpoint, and they do break through it, but the lads are all there. They get 2 of them. The Tetris are behind us, Nautilus. The Nautilus needs to get the pick, so the Tetris get the reach slider and get the pick on the Naut instead, and it looks like Seafoam is just not in a place to make this happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was just about to say, you know, well, the lads do have the lead they want. Seafoam, you know, it's Rainmaker, anything can happen. But unfortunately, it does look like they are on a massive disadvantage with only 5 seconds left on the clock, and they must get the pick on this this Rainmaker in order to go into overtime. And unfortunately, they do not get it. And so the first game of this set is going to end up going to the lads. Rather, the first game that they get in this set is going to go to the lads.
Yeah, the lads get their first win of the set. Bring it to 1 and 2, you know.
That's the words.
Words are hard, I get it. But we're keeping things nice and competitive here in this grand finals, you know. These are the top 2 teams of the tournament. We're trying to keep things as competitive as they can get, and we're getting there. These have been some pretty close matches, but right now, Seafoam still has the game lead, but the lads can definitely make this happen, you know. They definitely took game 3 rather decisively, so Seafoam is kind of forced to respond, because if you're Seafoam, you want to end this tournament as soon as possible, because the more games you lose, the more momentum you give to the other team, and that can just be devastating. But Seafoam's going to have to see if they can just cut the momentum short, as I believe we're going to be heading on to game 4, which has been corrected to be Brinewater Clamblitz.
Yeah, it was super interesting to see how, even though Seafoam did, like, they didn't dominate, but they did very, very well on the modes that didn't need as much forward momentum, as Rainmaker just needs so much aggression to really make it work. They seem to struggle on the mode that, you know, required that, versus the modes that were a bit more passive, a bit more laid back. You can take your time more so. And it's going to be interesting to see how they take it in Clamblitz. I do foresee seeing that E-Leader out again, just with the incredibly powerful sightlines that we do see on Brinewater. But, and also the crabs. I feel like we're going to see the crabs again. But, do you have any particular thoughts on this map mode, Piggy?
I have a few thoughts. Leader could go coast to coast on the stage. Why did they make it so small, Nintendo? You could, you know, with this and Mincemeat, you can increase your stages by just a little bit, just to make it a little bit bigger. It's fine. Nothing's gonna hurt you. It's fine. But yeah, we're gonna be getting right here into game 4, sorry, on Clamblitz Brinewater, and we're gonna see these comps roll out. Seafoam not opting to change anything. Either are the lads, you know, see if they feel a little more comfortable on the stage with the double splash instead of that squeezer. So now, you know, Seafoam's going to try and respond with what they know well, and now we're seeing both these teams just trying to take an advantage. We see the Tetris already going for that flank, to be expected, and they get the pick as well off the bat on the splash. The Tetris are just going ever farther in. They do get picked off by the leader, but yeah, I mean, Tetris is able to blow a hole right away.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to capitalize on it super well, even though they do get mid. Actually, no, they are doing very well for themselves. They have plenty of clams. They have plenty of players up, except for their Tetris, which do go down, but they'll be back really soon with that wonderful, wonderful QR that they are most likely running. The ball is being passed around, and they are starting to lose mid here with Seafoam moving back in, and that leader perched up means that it's not going to be easy for them to move in at all. The brush goes down as well, and Seafoam is starting to get more confident. I believe that, yeah, the rain is going to come out from the Nautilus. T-Tech is going to go down, but that is 3 down on the side of the lads. Only the splash back up, and it looks like this might be a push attempt on the side of Seafoam.
And that ball is going to break that basket, and now Seafoam has a few clamps at their arsenal. The Naut has a few, the Ether has a few. The Tenatech actually just picked up a few more, but can they get this in this basket? They do get one in there, extending that duration a little bit, but they go 3 down. That leader's forced to jump out, so they only get a push to 77, which is really quite tame, especially on a stage like Brinewater. You know, that basket is so incredibly close that it's not super difficult to just be able to swim out, get some more clamps, and swim back up if your team has the right control. And now the lads are going to try and get this control. They're up 3 versus 2 up against Seafoam, and they do have their splash in a great position to break this basket. It's just the Tenatech left alive on the side of Seafoam. They just have to be comfortable enough to make it to the basket. Now it's in the hands of the Ink Brush. Rob is able to break that basket. Just need a few more clams to get this lead back. One more clam, and now the lads have a lead. But they want to get a few more clams and just really ensure it. But the Tetris go down a little bit too early.
feel like I'm seeing double here with that set that we saw earlier from the lads, where it was just no real sustained pushes, which is just so odd to see at this level. It's hard to tell what's going on, but it's something in the air tonight, I guess. We do see the Seafoam once again getting back on their feet, getting a pick on the splash, which is obviously massive based on the power of the crab. The Tetras go down, but the Nautilus on the Seafoam goes down as well, and they're going to be looking to start throwing out their specials and getting back some big control so they can get the clams, get the turf, and get the control to make a push that will hopefully last longer than a power clam and a single clam like they got last time.
Yeah, we're back in this neutral state, but Seafoam is the one that does not have the lead right now. They need to get it back, but they do have a slight man advantage right here. They're actually going to get the lads 2 dead. And now they're going to see if they can convert them into a good push. Madness is going to come in with this Nautilus. This Nautilus has been getting a lot of mileage for Madness and for the rest of Seafoam this entire set. Trying to go for that wide flank on that right side through that ink rail. It doesn't seem like the lads noticed it quite yet. Madness is able to make it to that little braided area, and with that range, they're going to try to push the lads just a little far out, but they get a little overzealous, and Madness is able to get picked off, and that's going to be 3 dead on the side of Seafoam. It's just
I was seeing the brushes tag with the 7 clams over there, and it looks like through that entire time, the brush got in their base and got behind them, forcing them to take their attention off of pushing and onto defending, as they could have gotten a jump in at any moment. We do see the lads go 2 down, but that was a really, really interesting play to take an attempt at getting a solid defense there. Super interesting play there.
I mean, this has just been a game of interesting plays, you know, back and forth. Both these teams are, I wouldn't want to say like, I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of peculiar. It's definitely not stuff we would have expected. The leader does drop a mistake though, and the brush is going to pick them off and going to try and get the jump too. That's going to be the wipeout from the lads on Seafoam, and now they're going to be able to push up and get a lot of real estate. They might not need to push and get points necessarily, but they get to just move up and control a lot of Seafoam's area. The Tetras are already doing Tetra things, getting that 1-for-1 trade. The lads do break the barrier once again, and there's only 2 alive from Seafoam to defend it, and that Nautilus goes down. The splash jumps from the brine water springs, but they get the lads get the points total all the way down to 33, down to 30, and that basket is still open. These clamps just keep going in, and the basket timer is fully reset now. And the lads are at 24 points, and they're still in the base of Seafoam getting these kills. Clams keep just coming back, and I mean, this is just what brine water's all about. You get in there, you get the lockout, and you get the knockout. And the lads are going to be taking game 4 over Seafoam.
You mentioned that they didn't need to push again, but clearly they disagreed. I'm guessing their mentality there was, you know, if you get into their base, you keep killing them, and you keep scoring clams in, that not only extends your push and keeps making you more likely to win, but that means that they were going to have to push further in terms of points to get the lead over you. It means that they're going to have to push further out of their base because you're going to be in there and they're going to have to take all that space back. And it just means, just generally, it's going to be a much closer game. It's not quite match point yet, but things are looking very, very tense between these 2 teams as we are going into a game 5.
These teams are both tied up 2-2. You know, after Seafoam got an early 2-0 lead, the lads winning the last 2 games straight, even with Barry back on that comfort pick of the E-leader. So it's a very interesting situation. You know, the lads have a lot of momentum on their side, and right now they're moving on to Spotcomb's Mako Mart, which I think is a stage that favors their comp much more than it favors Seafoam. But what do you think of this stage?
We talk about it all the time. Great equalizer. A lot of things can work. But also, I feel like Leader isn't nearly as good as it is on these massive Splatoon 3 new open, or like the Splatoon 3, the new stages, and the returning Splatoon 1 stages all have massive open sightlines, but Mako Mart from Splatoon 2 has those massive stacks. They have a lot of protected flank routes, and a lot of places where it's favorable to perch, but you're also still very vulnerable. So it's going to be interesting to see how the anchored comp of Seafoam fares against the very fast-paced, aggressive, flank-heavy route of the lads here.
Yeah, especially with, you know, Rob on that brush and, you know, Orion on those Tetras. It's very easy to just go all the way around and go behind this E-leader and just get that really easy pick, and like it's easy against the backline. And once Seafoam kind of loses their anchor, they tend to fall apart just a little bit. Well, not really fall apart, but you can tell their formation is broken just a little bit. But we're going to be getting right into things. The lads not really wanting to go back to their squeezer. You know, they feel much more comfortable on this double splash comp against this team. And Seafoam going back to something what we saw in Game 2, bringing back out that Slosher.
Yeah, the Slosher is just, it's a very interesting weapon. You can play around the map, the topography of the map so well. And we do see the lads immediately pop a crab that does get bullied off by the leader and I believe one of the splashes. But that doesn't mean that Seafoam is going to have an advantage. But they do get that pick. They are forced to back out though, despite that really cool pick off of the leader. But it just, it's the lads' game right now.
Oh, God.
That poor Tetris is getting bullied by Barry right now. They cannot catch a break.
Down as the Elemental or Spectator, who just has a sixth sense for knowing when Barry's about to go off and just getting the right POVs, because my goodness, he's been pertinent in this, but yeah, Seafoam is able to get this control back, and it's a very back and forth game. Both teams are fighting for control of the zone. It is a little bit equalized before Seafoam gets this lead. It's going to be a small lead, but a lead nonetheless, and yeah, now Seafoam gets that lead back. Once again, it is small, but they're going to try and push it to something more. Tetris are going to go onto the stack of Seafoam, get the pick as well on Max. That's going to be 3 dead on Seafoam, and the lads are going to be pushing further in, especially Orion on these Tetris, just really trying to get as far into their base as possible. Trying to get the kill on the bucket, but not quite able to get it. But the teammates on the side of the lads are able to get the leader down, and that's 2 dead on the side of Seafoam, which means this push is going to get extended, and the lads are going to get the lead back from Seafoam.
Yeah, Orion on those Tetras just excels at doing Tetra things. Going in, being annoying, dying, and doing it all over again, maybe getting a pick or 2 along the way, but that is very effective here, as Seafoam can't do much about it. Their comp is just a little bit too slow to deal with it effectively, and it just seems like they are just struggling with how much they're getting flanked. Unfortunately, right as I say that, they do get the advantage right before getting wiped, because nothing I say can ever be accurate.
Commentator's curse, you know, they say it's a myth. It's not a myth, ladies and gentlemen. It's real. You're seeing it in action, and you just be really good at summoning it, I guess. But Orion on these Tetris, once again, trying to get behind the enemy base. Gets the trade, you know, exactly what you're looking for. As the Tetris, Madness is going to go down, and that's going to stall Seafoam's offense a little bit longer. Here's Max on the bucket, but they get taken out by Rob on the brush. Gets shortly taken out after, but once again, Seafoam is just getting stalled a little by little from getting back in the zone, and slowly but surely the lads are through their penalty, and they're going to start getting even more points on the board. Barry on this either trying to make something happen, trying to get a snipe, because they know the lads are very close to getting this knockout, but Seafoam is able to get the zone back, but this leader's just being attacked from all corners, and they're the last alive, which means you know they're probably going to get rushed fairly soon.
Yeah, we actually see the two players on the side of the lads go all the way around instead of going directly for Barry, just knowing that with that open sightline, they are likely to get picked. But it's still effective. They still are holding, and they still do get a bunch of picks. They go 1 for 1 with the brush, and the Tetris do go down. But that crab gets taken out, which is massive, because that crab could have really bought them a ticket to getting some control back. Jared trying to get Barry at all costs, knowing how big that pick is. And they're still holding. The clock is ticking, and if you're Seafoam, you're really, really nervous right now, and you're going to be throwing your all at the zone to try and get that cap and apply that 41-point penalty on the side of the lads.
Yeah, but we saw how Seafoam, it's hard for them to panic. They stay calm no matter what, and they're going to have to stay calm if they want to get this lead back, you know. The lads pushed it all the way down to 10, but now Seafoam has passed that 50-point mark, which is, you know, kind of that crucial halfway marker, and this is where the zone timer feels like it ticks even faster than normal, because you're just getting so close to getting that lead back. The Tetris do go down early, but here comes the crab on the side of the lads, but not quite shooting out of the zone now. The lads go 2 down. Seafoam has all their members newly spawning, and they're getting very close to getting this lead back from the lads. Just Terra on the splash, just not quite able to make something happen, just getting pressured, getting cornered, and that's going to be a wipeout from the lads, and Seafoam is going to be seizing control and is going to take game 5, and now they're at tournament point.
Fantastic. They're Seafoam showing their stuff. They know exactly how to play zones, and they just love taking it back from the brink of the brink of death there. Always able to get their specials, always able to get them coordinated in just the right way where it extends their control, and able to take the clutch victory there.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned how good Seafoam is on these sort of slower paced modes, you know, that are built more around that special advantage, and they're showing it And as I said before, they're on set points. This is the best of 7, so they need to get 4 wins. Seafoam right now at 3. Lads has to win the next 2 matches if they want to win this tournament. But things are only going to get harder for them because we're going to be going back to Hagglefish Market, the same stage that Seafoam took game 1 on, this time on tower control, a mode that Seafoam has already won on. So the lads are really going to have to dig deep if they want to bring the set back.
Yeah, the lads had some really good momentum there, and I first saw them, especially when it got so tight there, I first saw them taking that game, but Seafoam really surprised me with how well they were able to take it back, and now that Seafoam has the momentum again, it's anyone's game for game 6 here. As we do return, like we said, Seafoam probably feels really comfortable there. That's a map that they can run their leader on and be comfortable. That's a map mode that they just feel comfortable with their comp generally on, versus the lads, which might see a change. Not really likely. Crab is going to be fantastic here, so I do foresee them sticking with the double splash.
Yeah, but maybe they want to go with that squeezer, with that wall, with that range. Maybe they want to let Jared just flex a little bit more on that Zuka. I don't know, anything could really happen here, but it is the lads with their back against the wall, whatever comp they lock in, it's going to have to be a comp that they feel as confident in as ever, because they want this tournament, and Seafoam is at the brink of taking it from them. So they're going to have to just, really dig deep and make sure that they're making plays they won't regret as we shortly head into game 6 of the series.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic set to watch so far, definitely. Super tight games with some really, really great, interesting plays. It's not your typical set. It's not just double splash machine flings over and over again.
Thank the Lord. Well, we do see double splash. That's got to stay. But...
Well, that's just how it rolls. At least they're running some interesting weapons with it. All right, let's get right into it.
Yeah, we do see Madness, sticking with that Nautilus. Max gonna be on that 10 attack. Maybe they're gonna be just going with that, Crim Ink Strike technique. Who knows? But not quite charging that Ink Strike quite yet. But we're at that stalemate in neutral, and this opening team fight is so critical. We've seen what the lads can do. Just how far they can push if they get, that opening team fight. Rob is going to be moving forward on that Ink Brush, just trying to get the pick on the Splash-O-Matic. Not going to quite get it, but they do survive for their troubles. But we're in that neutral spot. Orion of the Tetris is the first to go down, as is the Splash-O-Matic. That's going to be 3 down on the side of the lads. Seafoam once again winning this opening team fight and getting leader on that tower, and burying is the last snipe onto Terra. And that's going to be the Seafoam moving quickly onto this first checkpoint, and the lads are going to have to respond pretty far away from the tower as the leader drops the Wavebreaker to protect himself a little bit.
Yeah, no, we saw there, the lads had, I believe, a few members of Seafoam down, but they weren't able to really capitalize on it just based on how far they were pushed up versus the tower. But right now, Seafoam is executing a really perfect push here. Their Slayers are going ahead and making sure that the tower is going to be protected, and everyone else is just focused on, painting up, getting that control, and then there's the one player on the tower. Unfortunately, they are pushed out here, but that is 2 and 2, so they're not quite out of the water yet. Max is still on their little perch on the side there, and they had to ride him out before they could finally feel comfortable with pushing up again.
Yeah, the lads just picking off Seafoam one by one, getting Max in the bats, getting Madness stuck on that ledge, and the lads are going to bring the tower back to the middle, or I guess the tower's going to return back to the middle, but Seafoam already got a very strong push going in the first 2 minutes, getting it all the way to 22, breaking through the first 2 checkpoints, and getting very close to that 3rd checkpoint. The lads are going to have to respond in a big way, especially because, if this lead from Seafoam does not get broken, they will be the winners of this tournament, so this is going to be, this is big, this is very tight. We do see the splash, we do see Jared on the splash, trying to go behind, gets Madness on that Nautilus, very nice flank all the way around, and now the lads are trying to just do what they do best and really just annoy and get around and behind Seafoam as best they can. Jared is going to still be on that tower with that crab, trying to keep Seafoam away from it, but it's a 3 versus 3 situation. The lads don't really have a strong advantage to work with. The Tetris are going to be just now respawning, but it's still just so awkward for the lads to just move forward because of the pain and control Seafoam have in their area. But that's 3 dead on the side of Seafoam. It's just that leader. It's just going to be buried left. And now the lads get their chance to move fully in. The crab is going to get the pick on the leader very quickly. And now the lads have control of the tower and are breaking their first checkpoint.
Yeah, the shoe is on the other foot right now, and just the lads are executing once again that other perfect push. It's back and forth. It's gonna be really scary here. They only have a few more seconds to preserve their lead, but the Ink Strike comes out at just the right time, forcing them out, getting a few picks along the way, and making sure that they can try to get mid back here, and they do end up preserving their lead. They do have specials at the ready, which is something that the lads don't have, but they also do go down, so it's going to be really interesting to see here how this big team fight in mid turns out.
Yeah, this team fight is so crucial, but more importantly, Seafoam is just barely able to defend that lead. You know, those strikes are so annoying, and the splash trades with the Tetras on this one, so it's 3 versus 3, and it's going to be, or actually no, the Tetras, oh wait, no, they do get QR from it, I'm sorry, but the splash does go down on the side of the lads as well, but we're still just in that even neutral stalemate. But the Nautilus, Madness getting picked up by Orion getting burst bombed to death, and now we're gonna return to the POV of Barry, just trying to keep the lads off of the tower however possible with that E leader. But the burst bombs are just gonna come out and just pressure Barry just a little bit. But right now, there's only a minute left on the clock. We're in the final minute of the match, and the lads still don't have the lead. They have to take the tower all the way practically to the 3rd checkpoint. And the tower's still in the middle, and now there's only 40 seconds to go, and the lads are 2 dead.
Yeah, right now, if you're Seafoam, you're feeling kind of confident, but you know that it can turn around at any second. And they, the only thing that they desperately need is to not wipe. Being the lads pushing up to 30, like all the way up there again, is a very low chance, but it still is a chance. And it's going to be even higher if they do end up going 2 down, like we do see here. It's very scary. Max is just trying to survive, ends up jumping out to preserve any semblance of special that he does have left. And we're going to see everyone just try to hold on, stall out, try to get their specials, and throw themselves at this tower at any semblance of taking this game back to not force it to a final match point.
Yeah, but they're still on the tower. They're just going to meat shield it just a little bit
Wow.
longer, and the lads barely get the lead from Seafoam. You talk about never being able to count them out, and the lads proving it just now, taking game 6 on tower control, the mode that Seafoam had already won on, and we're going to be going to a game 7 winner take all.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate, but that does make a much more exciting scenario for us as we do end up seeing a game 7. You know, the stakes are the highest that they have been yet in this entire tournament, because not only, you know, if you win, you win. That's it. That's it. Period. End of story. If you win, you win. If you lose, you're out. And it stings so much. I only speak the truth. You can't get much more real than me.
Weef is fluent in facts. I mean, look, this is just facts and logic here, but yeah, there's only 1 game left of the tournament. Winner takes all here. I mean, as we've said, if you win, you win. You lose, you don't win. It's really that simple here in this world, but we're going to be finishing things off here on a rather interesting map mode, Undertow Rainmaker. What do you think of this map mode, Weave?
So interesting. It's one of my personal favorite map modes in the game because there's a lot that goes into it. There's routes that, you know, for example, the left route is almost always safer, but there are many times that is not, and so you have to really consider, is it going to be worth taking the risk to go right and make a much faster play, or is it going to be more worth it to go left? And just the way that mid is divided makes there some really interesting team fights, because even though you were only like 3 feet away from your teammates on the other side of that wall, they're on the other side of a wall. You can't get to them fast, and you can't assist that fast, so you have to divide and conquer effectively, and it's going to be really interesting to see how these high-level players treat this map mode.
I gotta ask, are you gonna make your comparison on mic in Game 7 of this Grand Finals?
Do I make my comparison? I think that this map plays like Snapper Canal from Splatoon 2.
So I was saying
I only spit facts.
I was saying
just
that earlier, but you know, I think that we might have missed with this one. Make sure to sound off in the chat if you agree or disagree. But regardless of that, we're gonna be heading shortly.
No. Hear me out.
Nah, hear me out. We can't hear you out.
It's
starting. Your time is done.
I can't defend myself.
Here we go.
You set me up.
Here we go. Game 7 of Grand Finals. The lads versus Seafoam, 3-3. Winner takes the tournament. We're gonna see the double splash persist. Max is gonna be on that bucket. Barry on that heavy slide lane. The lads not bringing their squeezer out. and they're charging Crab immediately, trying to get that Crab for that team fight. Rush just launching that whale, but 2 on the side of the lads go down. It's Crab on Crab Islands. It's 2 versus 1 already in the first 20 seconds, and Seafoam are the first to get that Rainmaker. Shadow carrying it and going all the way left, and they're going to get a very easy checkpoint, practically uncontested, as the lads try and respawn, and Seafoam already has a ton of momentum starting out in this match.
Yeah, even though that Crab was so daunting, you know, it has so much control. If you just go over the wall, it can't see you. It can't do anything. So Shadow took that, and they saw the opportunity, and they saw that they were 3 down, and just took it and ran with it, and they are now 3 down again, and they're popping Crabs of their own and taking full advantage of it, as they already down to 40 points and counting. The lads are in a very hard position where it's going to be hard for them to stop, especially with these guys in their base, and even though they are 2 down, they can just take cover here, they can get the jumps back in. It's not all over until they get pressured, until they go fully down. They're still preserving their push here, not quite fully, but they still have made it really strong.
Yeah, Madness is still sitting back, continuing to get these picks, you know, playing the Splash instead of that Nautilus, not quite what they're used to, but, you know, Madness is still certainly making it work, and there comes that Crab, once again, just trying to keep the lads out of mid, gets the pick on the Splash, very well done for Madness. There's a few people of the lads on the other side of that pad. Rush going for that flank, but nice kill on Jared. Madness is really working overtime, and the brush gets taken out too. That's affecting, well, I mean, just so many people from the lads are going down, and they're not grabbing this Rainmaker, they're not making it work. Tetris going down as well, and now Seafoam just gets a chance to push forward once again and maybe lower that lead a little more and maybe get the knockout this time.
Yeah, we do see a Crab ready on the side of the lads, which I do believe just got popped, and it's starting to turn back around for the lads. They do have the mid painted in that wonderful bright shade of yellow, and Orion looks like, what is he doing? He's going around and he's hiding, and he's gonna take his chance and ambushed Barry, getting the pick on their anchor, which is massive, going for the reef slider that gets a pick, and their Seafoam was 2 down, and they're gonna take that. And unfortunately, they are 2 down themselves, so they aren't going to be able to capitalize on Orion's beautiful double there, as jumps are going to get camped, and it looks like their push didn't quite get on its feet just in time.
Seafoam had a very strong defense there. You know, the lads couldn't get anything started, and we're already in the second half of this game. We're approaching the 3-minute mark. You know, there's only 2 minutes left, and the lads have yet to even touch the Rainmaker, let alone get a point on the board. And Shadow on this Crab gets flanked by Rob on that ink brush, but they're gonna get the splash before they go down. But now the ink brush is in their walls, and now we see the lads having control of that Rainmaker. Rob is trying to just make something happen, be as annoying as possible, but just getting forced out a little bit by those others with more range. And the lads are just starting to get picked off a little bit, starting with the splash. Down goes the Tetris. It's just the brush and the Rainmaker left. And, you know, Seafoam is going to show no hesitancy in just trying to pick them off and stop this push as soon as they can.
Yeah, it's been so, like, Seafoam has been doing such a fantastic job at defense, and that's in part due to their Swatling just being always there, always having a strong map presence versus some of the other weapons that go down more often and are more wishy-washy on, like, whether they're going to be there or not. But that anchor, it's always there, it's always going to be affecting you, and also they've just been getting the picks, they've been winning the fights. And it's super high stakes right now, as we only have about a minute left on the clock. And if the lads wanted to take this back, they'd have to take it all the way to about 20 points. And getting a push off of their constant 3 downs, their constant disadvantages, and their constant not having many specials is going to be difficult, to say the least.
Things are looking so difficult for the lads here, but we're entering the last 50 seconds of this match. The lads only have 1 minute to make something happen, even less than that. I guess with overtime it's going to be more, but Seafoam has just had such a rock-solid defense, but both their splashes go down. It's just the bucket and the heavy, and the bucket goes down as well. And now the lads are going to finally get a solid push going. They're going to opt to go far left, but the heavy is here to defend. Here's Barry, just trying to keep this Rainmaker stalled as long as possible. The lads do break a checkpoint, but they're 2 dead right now. 3 dead right now, and there's only 20 seconds left in this game. Seafoam just has to guard this Rainmaker with their life and make sure the lads never touch it. 15 seconds left. Time is ticking down. This Rainmaker's running away Hey, they want nothing to do with the lads
Oh my
whatsoever.
God.
Going all the way to the base, and here comes Rob, gets taken out, and now Seafoam's at the point where the lads just can't reach them anymore. That's the wipeout, and
Oh.
Seafoam takes the tournament.
What style? Okay, wow. That's not a strategy you see very often because a lot of the time you're still vulnerable when you take it back in your base. But they found out that there's a spot that not even God can touch them. And they just had the security of being untouchable there in that last little bit. Seafoam takes a set. Seafoam has the longest Krillstreak. I had to do it. I had to make a joke.
And more importantly, Seafoam is going to take the tournament over the lads. You know, the lads, hard-fought battle, taking some very crucial games, making some clutch plays. Game 6 comes to mind, you know, just such a clutch push at the very end, but in the end, Seafoam took it. But I mean, we were expecting a great grand finals, and we got it. Game 7, down to the wire, down to the last push, but Seafoam just coming out a little bit on top tonight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased. I am a Seafoam fan, and that is exactly why they just are so fun to watch, just generally. But there was also amazing play from the lads there. Their Tetris and their brush were always getting into situations. It was amazingly fun to watch, and just generally a great set. Great semifinals and a great grand finals that you saw from us.
And just a great tournament overall.
Oh, 100%. It's the single elim, while it's not exactly the most fair mode in a lot of times, if you don't really know how to seed, if it doesn't get seeded correctly, it can be very unbalanced. But it's here, like, you know, it's always a fresh breath of air. It's fast-paced, high stakes. It's such cool action. So what it's shout out to all the tournament organizers that made it possible. But anyway, that is going to be it from us. Pinky, where can our lovely viewers find you?
Well, thank you for asking, Weef. You can find me on twitter.com at brokenpinky_. I tweet there occasionally, every now and again. You know, I've started tweeting a little bit more for my, you know, fun little New Year's resolution. But more importantly, Weef, where can every wonderful viewer of this Twitch chat find you?
You can find me on both Twitch and Twitter, where I make very deranged takes half the time. At Reef Slider, like you see there on screen, like Reef Slider, the special that we saw Orion pop there and get a pick at the end, but with a W instead of an R. And anyways, like I said, that'll be it from us. Thank you all so much for watching.